Count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com. Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Good morning, freedom lovers. Kenny, what's happening, baby?
Good morning, Vic.
All right, we got a Friday. We got a big show today. I'm just looking at the stream. If you guys watch the stream, there's a little added extra attraction today.
Oh, you saw that.
First of all, if you look at the normal people that work at this radio station, not the weirdos like you and me,
right?
Their stream, it's like a blue background. There's flags.
Real clean.
Real clean. NewstalkSTL logo. And then you look at ours, and it looks like a Dr. Seuss birthday party's going on.
Because it is.
So the top left is me with a caricature of me that Nick Schroer put together with AI. Another one that Nick made that skeleton one too, right, of you?
Oh, yeah.
So Nick made another one. It's Ken, prepared for battle as a skeleton working our show. And Ken does work, to make this show as good as I can make it. And then the cat in the hat aspects of it. Now, why did the cat in the hat thing happen? Because the flag, the red and white part of the flag is on the bottom part of the stream. And I said to everybody, doesn't that look like the cat in the hat is down there way underneath looking up at us, right?
This is like one of the very first shows.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. I said, can somebody put like a cat in the hat? And then that was it. It exploded. So there's cat in the hats all over the place. A cat in the hat that just says whoosh in the middle. And then did Nick make this too?
Yeah.
So we have a state senator making logos for us,
Yeah,
really?
it's pretty
This
cool.
is great.
Yeah.
The Vic Porcelli Show and the arch and whoosh and the cat in the hat, and it's just great. So anyway, it's an entertaining feed, I think.
And since we're talking about the streams, all you have to do is type in NewstalkSTL.
Yeah.
At Twitter, you can go to Rumble and even YouTube, Vic.
My God.
And on Facebook.
And we're still on there, I believe.
Yeah, we're still on there,
How about that? And I promised Ed Stoit that we'd go to the Rumble chat box first today because he kind of, gave us a little spanking yesterday.
Yeah, gets aggravated. Yeah.
My hiney's a little sore from that spanking. Okay, so big show today. It's Friday, of course. Patrick Ishmael is going to start us off. He's from the Show Me Institute. He's the Director of Government Accountability. Larry Connors, Mr. Connors' Neighborhood at 9:25. At 9:41, sad day that happened on this day in history. We'll relive that. Susie Moore from RedState.com. And Ken, Owen Schroyer.
Yes.
Who was a J6 prisoner, right?
Right.
Was let out of jail. How about that?
Yeah.
And we'll talk to him. We'll have him
I think we have the exclusive on
We have
him.
the exclusive to talk to Owen Schroyer, not to be confused with Schroer, who hasn't been thrown in jail yet.
No,
Thank
not yet.
goodness for that. And the Wheel of Audio Clips, 1041. It's Friday, of course. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance and get our asses in gear here, Ken. Who's doing the pledge?
Yeah, Vic, we have Trump's New Hampshire campaign chair, Steve Stepanek.
Oh, you know what? I remember talking to him.
Yeah.
We got to get him back on.
We do.
I really like him. Okay, go, Steve.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on your show. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's Friday!
It's funny. This morning, I saw the Channel 5 News, and Paul Cook was on with traffic. And he comes in, the first thing he does, he goes, "It's Friday."
Did he really?
Yes. And he stopped it. I think he got caught up in it.
Yeah.
He said, it's the glad hands and all that stuff. He was trying to explain away, but I know where he got it from.
Of course. So can I just say another quick Paul Cook thing? The right before 8 o'clock traffic report, like 7:59, he comes on and does traffic. And can I say, I don't even know if he had a shirt and tie on today, but when he's got a suit and tie, God, he looks so good. He looks But he's doing traffic, and he goes, all we have today is like a couple of car malfunctions, and then the camera comes up with a car that's stalled on the right lane, and as soon as he said that, a MoDOT truck came up to help the guy. He goes, "Oh, well, look, there's a guy helping him right now. Isn't that?" It was perfect timing.
Yeah.
When the car came up to, I don't know. Maybe we need to get Paul back on. I miss him.
I know.
Miss him a lot.
Yeah.
All right, let's get rolling here. Patrick Ishmael has been waiting very patiently, listening to Cats in the Hats and all that crap. He is the Director of Government Accountability at the Show Me Institute. Patrick, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Vic. Hey, I'm no cat in the hat, but I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you, man. We really do. And today, I think, really important because the Missouri moving Missouri forward, exploring 16 different policy areas in which the common sense reform could immediately and positively impact everyday life for Missourians. So what I want to do here, Patrick, there's 4 basic things that are going to be covered in this. I want to take them one at a time. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's start with education.
Yeah, so we're back into legislature season, and so a couple days ago we started pre-filing, and then the legislature opens up in the beginning of January of 2024. And what we're hoping to see is a wide variety of reforms passed in taxation and other things, but top of the list is education. And when we're talking about education, usually we're talking about school choice. We're talking about allowing for inter-district movability of students. If there's a school in another district, that you can go to that because this is beneficial to the state to make sure the kids are educated well. Expansion of the Most Scholars program, having a school report card so that you know as a parent exactly what your schools and districts, how they're performing, what they're doing, that sort of thing. Education is top of the list. I mean, you look at the states around us, you look at Iowa, you look at Arkansas, they have implemented really robust school choice programs. And I think for the last year or two, I think Missouri has been on the edge of passing something really great that allows for kids to go to a school that actually meets their needs. And it's really important. It almost goes without saying, but it needs to be said that Missouri schools in general are failing right now. The last set of testing that was done, we found out that only 1 in 3 kids in the state is proficient in math, which means that 2 out of 3 are not, and yet none of our school districts are unaccredited. So the point being is that schools and districts, on average, are not doing that well. Your kids might be in a district that are not doing that well, and one of the only ways to really figure out, how to make it better is, 1, to know how your school and district are performing, which is what we would propose, and 2, if they're performing poorly, you really should have the opportunity to take your kid to a school that is actually going to serve the needs. So education, top of the list. Hopefully the legislature will get something done this coming year.
All right. So 2 things I want to say about the education part. One being that there are people, liberals, who are so against school choice, and they try to make their case on social media, and I don't get what they're trying to say. But can you just give me like 30 seconds or so on why school choice is a good thing?
Yeah, so school choice, I think, unfortunately, when you look at the school system, the district system that we have, it often serves bureaucrats. And so we have an expansion, for instance, of administrators over the course of the last 20 or 30 years. And yet what we're seeing among students is that we're having fewer and fewer students. So we have a lot of bureaucracy, and the bureaucracy is served by forcing kids to go to schools that are designated to them by their zip code. It isn't necessarily a benefit to the kid, it's a benefit to the system. And that's the opposite of what our education system should be doing. So I think a lot of the folks who support the status quo with less school choice believe that the system itself needs to be served. If you're a superintendent's one of the most lucrative positions that you can have in a lot of counties in the state of Missouri, and they have a lot of power across the state. So a lot of superintendents don't want anything to change, but if you're talking about like your average student, your average kid, and I think parents who know what's going on in their school and district, they want choice. And generally speaking, the folks who are opposing school choice and trying to block it are the folks who benefit from the system as it stands, and I think that's unacceptable.
And finally, on the topic of education, I want to remind everyone to go to moschoolrankings.org, which is the Show Me Institute's great resource for schools around the state when it comes to how they manage the school, what money's spent, and where the money goes. So moschoolrankings.org. Do I have that right, Patrick?
That is exactly right. You can go and see exactly how your school is performing, how they're spending some of their money. This is something that the state should have done years ago, but the Show Me Institute is doing it in the meantime.
And hopefully forcing them to be a little bit more transparent. All right, let's talk about healthcare.
Yeah, so healthcare has been a long-standing topic of ours, especially during and after Obamacare. But unfortunately, you still don't really see a whole lot of transparency in pricing. I think that surprise billing remains a thing in the state, and I think that healthcare operates in a space where other markets really don't. Where a lot of times you find out what the costs of your services are going to be after they're rendered. And that even includes just regular checkups and other items. We're not necessarily talking about emergency services. We're just talking about healthcare services in general. And so it's important, and there is some federal legislation that has already been passed on this but hasn't really been enforced, to force hospitals to be transparent about the pricing. If the federal government isn't going to enforce it right now, the state needs to pass a law and enforce those transparency provisions so you can compare hospital to hospital how much knee surgery might cost. The Surgery Center of Oklahoma, for instance, it's a surgery center in Oklahoma, as you might imagine, posts all of their prices online. What we'd love to see is hospitals of all sorts do that so that patients can make an informed decision about where exactly they want to take the dollars. And then we're also talking about free market healthcare reforms, scope of practice reforms, repeal of certificate of need. All these you can find on our website, showmeinstitute.org, along with the entire blueprint for an explanation of what those issues are. But the idea in general, when we talk about healthcare reform, is supply-side reform. If we can increase the number of people who can provide a service and do it competently, that's generally speaking going to bring down prices. And so if you have transparent pricing and you have a real market of competition where lots of people are able to provide services, that's something that we would support, and hopefully we'll see some movement on that in the legislature. It's trickier with healthcare because a lot of healthcare is controlled by federal law and federal regulation. But if there's an opportunity for reform, we've got some ideas for the legislature to take up.
And, it's funny that in life, if you're going to, like we talk about our friends at Connor Roofing, right? If you're going to get a roof put on your house, you're going to get an estimate. Connor always give you an honest estimate. But you don't get an estimate on something that's going to make you better, right? It's so stupid. We should do that with everything. I think that's what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right, and I think that when you see that, when people are able to take some ownership over their health care, I think one of the biggest problems that we have in our healthcare system is that it's very much a third-party payer system where our insurance is basically sitting between us and the provider, and so I think to the extent that you can have a greater ownership over like the costs that go into your health care, where you don't feel like there's some blank check sitting out there that someone else is going to pay.
Right.
That's going to have positive impacts not only on you but also the population as a whole, because if everyone is doing that, you see it in every other market, whether you're talking about cars or groceries.
Right.
If everyone is looking for the best deal, that everyone doing that is going to have downward impacts on prices and positive impacts for everybody.
All right. So listen, I'm sorry, this is my fault, not yours. We're running out of time. So just about a minute on each of unemployment insurance and budget reform. Let's start with unemployment insurance.
Yeah, unemployment insurance hasn't been modernized for a long time. My colleague, Aaron Hedlund, has done a lot of work on this. And so I think that is something that hopefully will be taken up. I know there's been discussion at the Capitol about it. And what was the second item you brought up?
Budget reform.
Budget reform.
Budget reform.
Yeah. And with budget reform, my colleague Elias Chapalis has done a lot of work in that space. The problem with the budget right now, of course, is that we're spending record amounts of money, and generally speaking, every department starts from what they spent last year, and generally that means that the cost of government goes up every year. We should go back to something like zero-based budgeting, and every department needs to prove out exactly why they need all this money every single year, and if they don't, they shouldn't be spending it, and we should have a smaller government and more tax cuts.
Patrick Ishmael, Director of Government Accountability. Great conversation. Be sure you go back and watch this on the podcast if you missed any of it, or if you know somebody who missed it, say, man, you got to listen to Patrick Ishmael. It's on the podcast to learn about all this stuff for the state of Missouri, the 2024 blueprint, moving Missouri forward. And that's what we certainly need to do. Patrick, have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
You too, Vic. Thanks.
All right. Boy, I'll tell you what, man, those Show Me people, they're always looking out.
Oh.
Always, and they never stop working.
Yeah.
You talked about Aaron Hedlund, and another colleague, and we've talked to so many people from Show Me. We're always on it. And I can't tell you, I know I talk about it all the time, probably belabor the point, but that mostschoolrankings.org on the Show Me site.
It's amazing.
Any school district in the state can.
Yeah.
You can find out, they get a grade on how well they're teaching kids. They also get a grade on how much money they're spending, how much money the teachers make, where the money goes. It's accountability.
Exactly, and I think you're right, Vic. I think we don't give Show Me and our other resources enough accolades for what they do, because they are actually kind of a watchdog for us.
Right. Did I not get a cup of coffee before we started?
I don't think you did.
What in the hell was the matter with me?
I don't know.
I gotta be crazy. Okay.
What? One reason is
It's Friday.
That's your little cup of coffee this morning.
Do I have time to do that now? In between this and
maybe,
Mr. Connor's neighborhood?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Don't be starting it without me.
Okay.
Don't let him start without. Don't give
right.
him an inch. Wheel of audio clips coming up at 10:41. Owen Schroyer, who was a J6 prisoner for how many years now, Ken? 2.5 years?
Yeah.
He's out. He's out of jail.
1,000 days.
1,000 days. We'll talk to him at 10:25. Susie Moore, Deputy Managing Editor at RedState.com. And coming up next, it's Mr. Connor's Neighborhood on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
Town of Rolling Stone will be back. And what did I say? I said Rolling Fork, Rolling Stone. I got my mind going here.
This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and NewstalkSTL.com.
This is so stupid.
St. Louis's.
Okay, I'm hanging up on you now.
Place to talk. News Talk STL.
Do you live in West St. Louis County? Then you can get West News Magazine delivered free to your home just by asking for it. West News Magazine is the only print source for the political, school, business, and sports news happening in your hometown. Simply visit westnewsmagazine.com/subscribe or pick up a free copy at all area Deerbergs and Schnuck stores. West News Magazine. Anybody who wants it gets it. Anybody who gets it wants it. Subscribe for free today. Simply visit westnewsmagazine.com/subscribe.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Is your family prepared for the financial burden of losing a loved one?
Are you aware of the cost of a funeral?
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for lifetime permanent final expense insurance coverage with no medical exam required.
Just answer a few health questions, and once accepted, your rates never increase.
Do you have diabetes? High blood pressure?
Have you had a heart attack? A stroke?
No problem.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial can help protect your legacy.
Call or text 314-866-8886. That's 314-866-8886.
To learn more about permanent lifetime final expense insurance coverage.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for immediate coverage by answering just a few health questions.
Call or text 314-866-8886. Or learn more at memorialplans.com. That's memorialplans.com.
Policies underwritten by Senior Life Insurance Company, not available in all states.
Hi, it's Mark McCloskey, and I'm proud to represent my friend Mike Lindell and My Pillow here for the Christmas season. You know, my buddy Mike Lindell is always looking for ways to solve everyday problems. His My Towels solved a problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores, and they feel lotiony and soft. When you get them home, they won't dry you. That's why he made My Towels. They actually work. They're soft and they absorb. And now My Pillow is excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Sherpa cotton. This is a comb ring spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sales price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com, use promo code ONFIRE, or call 800-645-1392. You you get Mike's designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% on all my towels. They actually work. What a concept. Just go to mypillow.com and use promo code ONFIRE. This offer won't last, so please order now.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Live and local.
Welcome home. And whoosh, sitting in traffic, stuck in a jam, and being entertained by Vic and thunder-stealing Ken.
This is News Talk STL. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. You're listening to the Vic Porcelli Show.
You're funny. But I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh. What do you mean funny?
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
Donald Fagen, New Frontier. This may be my favorite music that we play.
Yeah, it is.
With all the great 60s, 70s rock
everything.
and roll thing. This is so great. Donald Fagen is just so smart and so good.
You know, it says Friday. It says.
Ken, you're right.
It's just happy. It's like, you know, nothing wrong.
And by the way, Ken doing his little Donald Fagen
You can't help it.
I know. Okay, let's get down to business here. We've got Wheel of Audio Clips at 10:41. Owen Schroyer, a J6 prisoner for 2 years. He's out now, and he's going to talk to us at 10:25. Susie Moore from redstate.com at 10:05. And right now, let's get into Mr. Connor's neighborhood. Yeah, he wandered on in. Here we are on a Friday.
Yeah, St. Louis, it's Mr. Connor's neighborhood.
Good morning, Mr. Connors.
Good morning, gentlemen. Vic, Ken, good
how
to
you
see
feeling?
you again.
Got the COVID yet?
Well, I have it, and we're all going to have it now because I have it, so I'm spreading it. I'm a super spreader.
So, I mean, clearly it's another rig of the election, right?
Just happenstance. You're such a conspiracy theorist.
I know.
You and I listened to Mike Ferguson and earlier today and Gabe. I mean, you're all getting all. You think it's all conspiracy theory to ruin the vote? Come on.
All right.
January 6th was an insurrection,
All right.
you know.
So be sure you listen to Larry Connor's Liberal tonight at 6 o'clock for the liberal view on the news. But seriously, be sure you listen to Larry tonight.
You know, for decades on TV, no one knew what my politics were.
Well,
nor should they.
For 40 years when I did music radio, same thing.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, why would I piss off half my audience when the real job is to play the music?
Yeah.
Right?
And my job is to deliver the news, not my opinion of it.
And Larry, it's funny, when I started doing this, people who had no idea that I was a conservative all those years, I can't believe you're working for a right-wing station. Right-wing station. And some guy goes, well, you're going to lose half your audience. I said, oh, okay. But
the half I'm having.
Exactly. What if I was on a liberal station? I'd still lose half my audience, but the people you hate. So shut up.
I had a guy that was sent me a text or email, I guess. I said, it repeatedly called me a liberal when I was working at Channel 4. And finally, I had enough. I would always kind of kick it back in the sense, thank you for watching, appreciate it. You know, that really ticks them off, you know.
Yeah.
So I continued. So finally I said, let me tell you something. I'm born again, Texan, Marine, own several guns, Harley rider, poker player, whiskey drinker. Where in the hell do you hear liberal?
yeah. What liberal concept is any of those things? All right. So I wanted to talk to you today, Larry, about scandal. People, you know, politicians mostly who screwed up, went to jail. I mean, obviously Nixon, you covered that one probably, right? Watergate?
Actually, I got one of the interviews, the interview after he left D.C. to get out and get about the country. He came down to Houston to Nassau. He wanted to get out and just get away from the Beltway press and so forth. And I'm the only guy that got an interview with him.
Wow.
As he's walking down along the line. You know, normally when a president appears, they have the photographers and reporters in one pen area. We all have credentials we've had to file. Then there's got a public pen. Well, I knew he's going to go to the public pen and shake hands with everybody. So my photographer and I go over there. So he's coming along. I just reach out my hand, shake hands with him, and then I bring the microphone up. And so
did he get mad at that, or was he good with
No, he just started. And a photographer for one of the papers down there took a picture, sent it to me later. And behind him, you see this great big shoe. Ron Ziegler, his PR press president, beginning to tug at him, trying to get him away. Well, now I can see he's relaxed. He's got his arms folded. So, you know, and I've got one of these big mics stuck up there. And I asked softball questions. I'll guarantee you that. I didn't ask anything that's going to make him turn
you're
on
in
his
that
heel.
situation.
No, I'm just saying that. And he said it's a can-do spirit of Texas, can-do spirit of America. I mean, he was enjoying it. Yeah. So we in ABC picked it up, I got on a couple minutes of it or so, but everyone else in town.
That's the mind of a poker player.
Yeah.
He's in the press pen, right? Where Nixon's probably not even going to stop or hates them all anyway. So Larry says, let's go over to the public pen. No problem. Those are the real people. Those are the normal people, right?
Yeah.
Let's go over there. And you were the one.
And he enjoyed it. Like I say, he did enjoy it. The only thing I had to be careful with when I started to tell the photographer, bring the shotgun mic, because it is a shotgun mic at the very long.
That's so funny. You need another word for that.
Yeah, I said, bring the big mic.
That one, the big one, the big mic. Not the one we call shotgun. Oh, no, sorry.
That's good. You actually acknowledged it before you even said it.
Yeah.
Now, you got us onto another interesting topic now.
Yeah.
The topic of the Secret Service.
Right.
Right? These guys are trained to take a bullet for the president if need be, right? Dan Bongino was a Secret Service agent.
Certainly was.
For a guy he didn't even like.
I know. But that's your duty.
But you got to do it. So what was the Secret Service around Nixon? I mean, did they get a little nervous about this crazy guy?
I didn't detect anything other than them kind of stepping forward when he shook my hand and I brought this up. I could see it, but then they realized what it was, and I was just doing an interview. And one other side note, which is, I was very fashionable at that time. I had worn one of these. You remember these suits that would have the threads showing? What would you call them?
Inside out?
Kind of leisure suit type thing. I mean, so, but that was about it. And often when the presidents would come into town, I'd be one of the ones who would meet with them, and they'd tell us what the plan was, and they trusted us to keep it secret, that we weren't going to divulge any details.
And you did?
No, not one. And then, of course, you remember when Ford came to town, and he actually came to the studios. And then he was supposed to leave, and he kept hanging around for a while. And I found out the reason he was hanging around because he's supposed to go to Kiel Center, and one police officer on duty had reported he thought he saw someone with a gun or suspicious.
Oh, boy.
So they had to wait for all that to calm down.
They take that seriously.
Oh, sure.
I remember when Ronald Reagan came to my town in New Jersey. Jesse and I were just starting to live together, and I couldn't get home. Because he was right in the square, which is right behind where we lived. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll just, see how close I can get. And I didn't get very close at all, and it wrapped up.
Well, that interview with Nixon was during the Watergate era. He wanted to get out. But then I got him again after he was out of office. He came to town to the St. Louis University Club. And I was told no cameras, no reports or anything. So I go up and kind of listen at the side of the door, pick up on what he's saying. I know the XE's going to go out, so we're down there waiting. When he comes out, we do it again. So, again.
You're on the list. You had been on that Secret Service list for a while.
Oh, there's that Connor guy.
Yeah, well, actually, I had a good relationship. I had a good relationship with several of them.
There's that Connor guy. So, just a quick, great trivia question. One of my favorite trivia questions. Who was vice president and president and not elected to either of those positions? Do you know who that was?
No.
Gerald Ford. He replaced Spiro Agnew for Nixon, so he wasn't elected to that post, and then he replaced Nixon, so he wasn't elected to that. So he was president and VP without being elected to either one.
All right.
That's great trivia, right?
You're great. You're very good.
I don't know about that. I mean,
I think you are.
I'm handsome and all. We know that.
Oh, no.
Hey,
let me back off
come
on that.
on, new haircut and everything. So listen, you and Nixon have another thing in common. He was an avid poker player.
Yes, yeah. I would have loved to play poker.
Listen to this. Worked his way through college by playing poker. That's how good he had to
was
be.
Good. Wow.
Like Mike McDermott in Rounders.
Yeah, but you're thinking about if he was as beady on the forehead as he was during the debate with Kennedy. Oh, there's a tell. You just got to figure out if it's a really good hand or a really bad hand.
Now, I want to get back to that in a second. Nixon and Kennedy debated in 1960, and they say that's what won the election for Kennedy because he was cool and he was witty, and Nixon was just sweating all over.
And wasn't that one of the first times that they actually
it was,
televised it? Because and that's when people realized, oh, wow, this is going to make a difference.
Yeah.
So
because on the radio they were saying, "Oh, Nixon won," and then on TV they said, "Oh, no way."
Yeah, as the public watched it, they said, "No way."
Yeah. Right. So there's something else I want to talk about.
Well, Kennedy was also facing an issue then too because, being Catholic, the belief was that, well, if he's elected, I mean, we'll be run by the Vatican.
Yeah.
You know, so
just like if Trump is elected now, he'll be a
right.
dictator.
That's right. I mean, a dictator. Come on, you know.
Let's talk about that for a
Yeah.
second. So he says jokingly in an interview with Hannity, I'm not going to be a dictator just for day one. I'm gonna drill and I'm gonna close the border. And the left actually took that by saying, well, Donald Trump admitted he's going to be a dictator.
It's an echo chamber. I played a piece yesterday from either CNN or MSNBC. They're quoting all these articles and columns from The Atlantic. If Trump wins, you know, the dictator, and Liz Cheney's book saying he'll be a dictator, we'll never have another election. And they just go over and over. And then the commentator doing the piece said he might control our federal investigative agencies, our Justice Department, undermine our foreign relations. I'm thinking, that sounds a lot like Biden.
What's happening now?
Exactly.
What were we going to say?
No, I was going to say that's what he said at the very end. He said, and then I won't be a dictator.
Even if he didn't.
It doesn't matter.
Let's look at this logically, okay? If he's going to be a dictator, is he going to say it? Right? Is he going to say, I'm going to oppress all you. You're all going to be
That's right,
dying
people.
and broke in the street, and I'm going to live in a palace. And by the way, he's not going to be a dictator, or he would have been the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because we wouldn't have this overturn again.
Liberals are stupid.
And you can't fix stupid.
No, you can't.
And they lie.
All right. 6 to 8 o'clock tonight. If you haven't caught Larry's show, 6 to 8, Larry Connors USA, you got to do it.
Thank you.
Great commentary, 12:03, 3:30, and 7:30 in the morning.
Yes, sir.
All right, man, we'll
Thank
be
you.
listening. And you know what we'll be? Lock and load,
Ready on the right.
Yeah, baby. Larry Connors, we'll see him next week.
Mr. Connor's Neighborhood on the Vic Porcelli Show.
Yep, Mr. Connor's Neighborhood, I'm telling you. Larry Connors USA is the kind of show when you pull into your driveway, and if he's at the end of a segment or in the middle of a segment, you're stuck. You're in the driveway. You're not going to get out of your car till he's done.
Yeah.
I do it all the time, almost every night. All because of you bastard. Finish up your stuff and let me get in my house.
You're years older than you.
Wheel of Audio Clips today at 10:41. Owen Schroyer, a guy who's been in a gulag, not in Russia, in Washington, D.C. They let him out. We'll talk to him at 10:25. Susie Moore, Deputy Managing Editor at redstate.com at 10:05. And coming up next, a little bit more about that terrible, awful dictator Donald Trump. Orange man bad. That's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
The big lie is a lot of bullshit. That's what it is.
How dare you? Now look here. I don't like that kind of talk. Now just stop it. It upsets me.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
So what did you think of the latest GOP debate? We'll break it down for you and see if there was anything of interest.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
From home improvement to replacement, do-it-yourself electrical projects can be shocking. That's where Grasser Electric can help. They've been lighting up St. Louis for years. From ceiling fans and dimmer switches to repair or replacing your electric. No job is too big or too small for your home or business. Grasser Electric will even install emergency backup generators. So call Grasser Electric today before the sparks start to fly. 636-441-5200 or go to grasserelectric.com.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
This hour, the Vic Porcelli Show, brought to you by Connor Roofing. You can count on Connor for all your roofing needs. Visit ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Hey, how you doing?
On NewstalkSTL.
Yes, we have to say it. Remember, this is just a football game, no matter who wins or loses. An unspeakable tragedy confirmed to us by ABC News in New York City. John Lennon, outside of his apartment building on the west side of New York City, the most famous perhaps of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
Ken Williams, that is how I found out that John Lennon was murdered.
Wow. You're watching a game.
1980, part of my life when, I never missed a Monday Night Football game. I loved it. I loved Howard Cosell and Don Meredith and, Frank Gifford and stuff. And then, back then, these are before the days of DVR.
Any kind of rewind, yeah.
Anything, right? And I'm listening, and I was like, did he say John Lennon was shot? What in the hell's going on? So I put on the radio, WNEW-FM in New York. We talk about that station all the time. And, they started to talk about it. And an extraordinary thing happened that night that every single DJ on WNEW-FM came to the radio station. And they talked, and they had, conversations, and, listeners were calling and crying, and they played wall-to-wall Beatles and John Lennon. It was just extraordinary that they all came together for that.
So it had to be surreal.
It was so surreal. And, when do you go for your music news to Howard Cosell?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It turns out Howard Cosell and John Lennon were great friends.
That's, I find, really interesting.
Yeah.
Howard Cosell, I always heard of him as being very, tight, rigid. Yeah. And he seemed like it on the air.
He was, yeah.
He had a style. That was his style, basically. Right. But John Lennon was the complete opposite,
And John loved New York City. He loved living in New York City. Beatles don't get Secret Service protection,
Yeah.
And he would walk through Central Park, and people would say, "Hey, John, hey, how you doing?" But he never feared for even his safety, much less his life.
Yeah.
Walking through New York City. So,
and why would he? I mean, honestly, back then they didn't have a whole idea of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Today, yes, but not back then.
Right. So I'm like, a 23-year-old kid watching Monday Night Football, and Howard Cosell comes on. And when you listen to that, at the end of that, he almost sounds, that's the way he talked. He wasn't trying to be anything except what he was when he said, shot twice in the back, brought to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival. Good.
The most famous, perhaps, of all of the Beatles, shot twice in the back, rushed to Roosevelt Hospital, dead on arrival.
It's just the way he talked. It's just the way, it was his cadence. We talk about cadence and the way people talk. That was his style.
And that's actually his professionalism, trying to keep it together to report that news.
Keep in mind, this is about somebody that he liked and admired.
Right.
You heard him say maybe the most famous Beatle.
Right.
Which I'm not even sure that was true.
Right.
Because McCartney was the one that had wings and was out on tour.
Yeah.
But to Howard, John was the most famous Beatle. And it was just a terrible day.
Yeah.
This day in 1980. And I don't know. This doesn't make sense sometimes.
Can we change the mood?
Yeah, do it.
It's Friday!
All right, so listen. Hunter Biden is now all of a sudden facing 17 years in prison.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll happen?
I am so skeptical about this whole thing, and it's only because it's just it's so positive that I think the negative. And here's what I mean by it. They're doing this as a creation of a deflection that maybe what if down the road, after this is all said and done, they drop the charges?
Well, even if he's convicted, Joe can pardon him.
Pardon him, yeah.
Right. So, it's good. My wife said to me last night, so what? If you're the son, you can go kill somebody and the president can just pardon you?
Yeah.
Pretty
much. Because, he did a lot of things. I think he did things that we don't even know about.
Now, you're right. Here's the funny thing about this, right? Donald Trump is being tried criminally and civilly. And he really, let's look at the Mar-a-Lago thing, right? The judge in that case said that Mar-a-Lago was worth $18 million.
Yeah.
Right? Trump himself said it's got to be worth at least $600 million. And then an independent realtor or whatever said it's worth well over $1 billion.
Right.
So they're saying that he underestimated the value of Mar-a-Lago to get a better deal on a loan, right? Okay, I want to be careful the way I say this, and I don't want somebody to chop up my words and make it sound like something I didn't say, okay? He, let's see, how do I do this? Let's say that the judge was right about that price, right? That he thought it was $18 million. Trump said it was more, so he would get a good deal from the bank. Whatever it was, Trump paid the bank back. Trump is one of the bank's best customers. There's no victim. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. In fact, last night, there were bankers, and here's what they said. They said, this was one of the best deals we have ever gotten from an independent person.
So he paid the bank back. First of all, Mar-a-Lago is not only worth there's probably a car in the driveway worth $18 million. $18 million.
Yeah.
But, they're trying to say that to railroad him in this case. And, Hunter literally took money from other countries, almost treasonous behavior.
I would say that it was treasonous, Vic, because if you look at what treasonous means, it's making the country weaker to other countries, and he was taking money for his dad, who is actually at the top of leadership in the United States, from another country, China, and actually other countries as well. This whole thing, and that's just part of it. This whole thing about shell companies and all that stuff.
That hasn't even come up yet? Is that
no.
what you're saying? Yeah.
Creating these shell companies in their grandchildren's names.
Yeah.
Talk about being bad. We haven't even touched on the fact that he was carrying a gun while doing drugs.
Yeah. Got the gun illegally.
Illegally. And it's on video.
Yeah.
He's caught with it red-handed, but they haven't even done anything with that yet.
Mann Act.
Yes, from California.
There's so many things. So, Ken, do you have that thing that you play sometimes where Joe Biden says, my son did not make money from this, what's he called, this thing, which is so ridiculous on every single level. You got it? Go.
My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China.
He talks about China like it's some small Aleutian island that only has 3 people living on it, and nobody's ever heard of it. What's this thing he's talking about? China,
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem with all this, Ken. Even as recent as yesterday, Joe Biden, again, denied all lies. They're all lies. Listen to it.
Biden on Ukraine and also China. There's polling by the Associated Press that shows that almost 70% of Americans, including 40% of Democrats, believe that you acted either illegally or unethically in regards to your family's business interests. Can you explain to the Americans, amid this impeachment inquiry, why you interacted with so many of your son and brother's foreign business associates?
I'm not going to comment on that. I did not, and it's just a bunch of lies.
You didn't interact with many of their business associates?
I did not. There's lies.
The reason why they're yelling at the end of that, because he got out of there quick.
Yeah.
He was actually enjoying the press conference. He was answering questions.
Until he got a question.
Until he got a real question, and then you should have seen his face. Yeah. Then he's like, okay, move,
Right.
we're out.
So I wanted you to play that, and I wanted to talk about it because he's lying, right?
Right.
Hunter did take money from other countries. Joe got a cut, 10% for the big guy. This is all stuff that James Comer says he has receipts for. All the bank records, all the phone records, all point to the fact that not only is Biden a crook, but his son is a crook. So, with Joe Biden, he said that yesterday. How many times has he said that? They're lies. My son has never taken. I've never.
They lie. They lie. He always says they lie. Who?
But he denies that he talked to Hunter's partners. He denied that Hunter made any money. He denied that he made any money. The problem is he never did any of that under oath. So, yeah, he lied, and the American people needs to know in the court of opinion that he did lie. But as far as legalities go, he never said anything under oath, and that pisses me off.
Totally pisses me off as well, Vic. And this is one of the problems I'm having right now about this whole being indicted thing with Hunter. Isn't it convenient? He's getting ready to be forced under closed doors to answer every question that is available to the Congress, asking him any question they can without time limits, by the way, behind closed doors.
Right.
He wants it public. They say no. He keeps fighting it. They say no. Suddenly, he's indicted. It's almost like it's a deflection from keeping him
from the big news.
From the big news of getting him behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, Vic, and I want to ask somebody if we can find someone to ask this question. Because of these indictments, does this negate everything that they were going to do to him behind closed doors?
I don't know the answer to that question. On the surface, I would say absolutely these closed door sessions have to happen.
They have to.
Because Trump had to do it. Why wouldn't the president's son have to do it?
Totally agree with you. And I'll tell you what, cojones, can I say that?
Go.
The Republicans need to grow a pair.
Yep.
And they need to make this happen. And I'm not saying do something out of the ordinary. They need to do their damn job and make this happen.
Ken's scaring me a little bit.
I am very upset about this whole thing.
You're not mad at me, are you?
No.
Okay, because you look at me with
we're
that
good.
face you're making.
That's a reflex action.
He was really pissed. By the way, yes, you can say cojones. You can also say they can grow some balls.
Okay.
How's that?
Thanks.
All right. Vic. Grow some balls and do something about it.
Speaking of, we're going to have a stream. We're going to have a podcast coming up.
Oh, yeah. Good time to mention it, isn't
it?
Yeah. So, starting, I think, on the 15th of, or at least the week of January the 15th, Ken and I are going to start a new podcast. Just podcast, not on the radio, which means we are not restricted to any FCC laws. We can cuss our asses off if we want. Okay? You good? You happy?
Yeah.
All right. Can we check the chat box real quick?
All right.
We got yelled at yesterday by Mr. Stoit, Ed Stoit. He goes, you guys talk about chat box. You don't come to Rumble. Okay, Ed, here we go. Ed starts us off. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. He also says it's Friday. Oh, and happy birthday, Ken. Happy birthday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Morning, guys. I see Ken, and I've never listened to Vic for many years, just listening to his music show. Winds up, he's one of us.
All right.
Now, this is somebody who listened to me do music radio for all those years, no idea where I stood, because that was my plan. I didn't want to piss off half my music audience. And instead of calling saying, oh, you work for a right-wing station, your career is over, right?
Right.
That's, by the way, his name is Smokey Bear.
Hey, Smokey.
Are you all the new... Yeah, we are. We're in the new Maryland Heights studio, man. Come by and say hi. Leave us some food. Ed said, not a spanking, just a gentle talk. Ed Stoit said
okay.
that. Yeah. It sounded more like a spanking, though, when he emailed you yesterday, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean, for good reason.
I get it.
We've got a lot of platforms we go through, and we have to get to all of them, and sometimes we miss Rumble.
Right. I got an urgent text from Ken yesterday. Hey, we got this thing from Ed Stoit. We got to do the chat box and Rumble first. And it turns out we only did that, okay? We'll do the chat box one later. Uncle Larry keeps me company on my way to town most karaoke every Friday listening to Larry Connors. Okay, we have to take 5 minutes out for news, and then we're back for another hour. Wow, that's an hour already?
Yeah.
Holy cow. On News Talk STL at 101.9 and 94.1. Whoosh, my brothers and sisters.
Whoosh. I have a great whiskey suggestion. Stolock Whiskey. Created using natural limestone filtered water from the Ozark Highlands, aged in Missouri oak. Next time, get a bottle. But if you're going to share with friends, you better get at least 2 bottles. Stolock has the Larry Connors seal of approval. See the full story at stolock.com. Stolock, STOWLOCH, from Stone Ledge Distillery.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
All right, so Connor Roofing, CONNER roofing.com. That's CONNER roofing.com. If you need something done, they will take care of it with an honest estimate, quality work, great customer service after the work is done. They want to have a relationship with their customers, okay? They never get too big to make sure that you're satisfied with what they do. Also, they have emergency storm repairs, senior citizen and veterans discounts, all right? And just to show you what great people Connor Roofing is, we walk in this morning, Ken and I, and there's a Harry and David fruit box
It's
here.
amazing.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Fresh apples. I think that's a Honeycrisp right there. And some summer sausage and chocolate.
Oregon pears.
Wait, what?
Oregon pears.
Where are those? In this?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So, I mean, oh, my God. Pepper jack cheese, mini toasts. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you. And now we got to send them something, Ken. We got to send them something nice, like a shirt or something. So thanks to ConnorRoofing.com.
Francis Chick Powers.
With an inside story behind a Christmas song.
Colored street lights watch the world at play. A Christmas serenade.
That's Mr. Johnny Maestro and the Brooklyn Bridge and Christmas Serenade. The song was written by Ira and Mitch Uspay of M&I Recording Studios in Manhattan. Mr. Ira Uspay remembers.
It was Christmas time in 1980, and my brother Mitch and I were sitting in the office of our recording studio, M&I Recording, and we were listening to our friend Bob Shannon at WCBS-FM here in New York. And we were enjoying the classic Christmas songs, and I just couldn't help thinking, wouldn't it be great to have a Christmas hit that gets airplay year after year? I was walking to the studio, and I found myself in Herald Square right in front of Macy's, and that's when it really hit me. The subway rumbling, the Santas on the corner, bells, music, really a cacophony of sound. It's like a Christmas serenade. And the rest of the song actually came quite easily. So in January 1981, while it was still fresh, we went into the studio and we recorded the demo. Around 1988, a friend of ours booked in Johnny Maestro on the Brooklyn Bridge. Johnny told me that he loved the Christmas song and he wanted to do it. It wasn't until a number of years later, in '94, that we found out about a CD coming out on Collectible Records along with WCBS-FM, and they were considering Christmas Serenade for the CD. Along with 25 classics, we were so excited when we found out that the song made it onto the CD. And I'm so happy to have had the chance to work with the great Johnny Maestro to get it on the air.
From the Christmas files of the musicalsoundreview.com, I'm Francis Chick Powers.
A Christmas serenade.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNVS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 101.9, 94.1, and always streaming at NewstalkSTL.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Presidential son Hunter Biden indicted again, this time on 9 tax-related charges. Indictment returned by a federal grand jury in California.
The new charges, 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors, come in addition to federal firearms charges in Delaware alleging Hunter Biden broke a law against drug users having guns in 2018. He had been previously expected to plead guilty to misdemeanor tax charges as part of a plea deal with prosecutors who said he failed to pay taxes on $4 million in personal income in 2017 and 2018. Congressional Republicans have also pursued an impeachment inquiry into President Biden, claiming he was engaged in an influence peddling scheme with his son. The House is expected to vote next week on formally authorizing the inquiry. I'm Norman Hall.
Taiwan says it kept a close eye on a Chinese spy balloon sent in its direction, along with a sizable number of military aircraft and naval vessels. Russian President Vladimir Putin, to no one's surprise, announcing that he will seek another 6-year term in office, which he is fully expected to win. America's employers added 199,000 jobs last month.
The Labor Department says the unemployment rate dropped from 3.9 to 3.7% in November. The figures are fresh signs the economy could achieve an elusive soft landing. Should that occur, inflation would return to the Federal Reserve's 2% target without causing a steep recession.
And that's correspondent Jeremy House. A 72-year-old man arrested in Bakersfield, California, was allegedly at the wheel of a pickup truck that struck and injured several people at a Christmas parade last evening. Watching Wall Street, stocks are higher. The Dow is up 117 points. The Nasdaq ahead 55. The S&P 15 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Lee Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-626-5252. That's 800-626-5252. 800-626.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com. From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Unseasonably mild again today, but clouds are taking over. I'm forecasting a high of 63 this afternoon, still about for early December. Breezy this evening, scattered showers developing, a rubble of thunder or two possible overnight and early Saturday morning, but the rain gets out of here quickly tomorrow morning. We briefly climb into the mid-50s Saturday before temperatures plunge Saturday evening into Sunday. Down to 31 Sunday morning, a high that afternoon at only 42. What a change. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Vic Porcelli.
Come on, you're Italian. You understand.
Every day is a busy day all of a sudden.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Tough and smart, and I love Italian, so, he's definitely Italian.
At least I have this show to come and talk about it and let some stuff up.
What kind of a show are you guys putting on here today?
The Vic Porcelli Show.
Welcome home. Welcome back to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. All right, hour number 2 on Friday, possibly the last hour in this little jail cell that we've been in since we moved into this building.
I like this room a lot.
I do too, but how cool is it going to be?
That
in?
room?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's the new studio.
And Monday we may be in there.
Yeah, and then I think it's great because I use a lot. The production room I use a lot for different things after the show.
Yeah.
And this room is going to be my place to go to do this.
It's like your office.
Well, kind of.
That's great.
It's everybody else's too, but,
So
it's Friday!
We're just very excited to possibly, and of course, as it always happens, that the first show that will be on here will not be us. So it's just a kind of a breaking news. Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
When news breaks, you can be assured that Vic Porcelli has just signed off the air. So when you need breaking news, you can count on News Talk STL. But after Vic signs off the air, News Talk STL, your home for breaking news after 11 a.m. Sorry, Vic.
No problem. We're used to it by now. So we'll be like the last people to do our show.
Right.
In that. Fantastic. All right. It's a Friday. Owen Schroyer, who is a J6 political prisoner, really, right?
Yeah.
Stuff you read about in other countries, right?
Amazing. Yeah.
Nelson Mandela was a political prisoner for, 20 years or whatever. I mean, Owen Schroyer was in like a gulag for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And now he's out.
Unrepresented.
And we're going to talk to him at 10:25. Wheel of audio clips at 10:41 right now, though. We know it's time for...
Oh, yeah. You, baby, I love you. Susie Q.
I'm the boss. How about that?
And I should have listened to Susie more from the beginning. Yeah. Good morning, Susie Moore. How are you?
Good morning. I'm pretty good. How are you?
I am well. So, all of a sudden, indictments against Hunter Biden. I mean, Ken and I are so skeptical about this, you know. Is he really going to face 17 years in prison, do you think?
Well, he's theoretically facing it. Will he receive it is the real question. And the chances are no, of course, because one way or another, there'll be some sort of agreement reached, I suspect. I don't see this as being something that will go to trial. And I also don't see it as something that they will necessarily heap the maximum sentence on. And a lot of times sentences like this will run concurrently. So is it likely that Hunter Biden will spend 17 years in jail? No, it's probably not even likely that he'll actually spend any time in jail, to be honest.
Right.
But, you know, it's a step in the right direction.
But they want to hang Trump in a public square.
Mm-hmm.
A little different.
Yes, because Orange Man bad.
Right, because Orange Man bad, exactly. And did you happen to see, we got to talk about this with you. Hannity had Trump on for the town hall, which really was just kind of an interview with an audience, really. Don't you agree with that? It wasn't a town hall at all. It was just kind of an interview.
Yeah, it was more like a conversation.
And is this it? And then he says this.
And we're drilling.
That was a very, very end of it. Here it is.
Except Look, he's going crazy. Except for day one. Meaning? I want to close the border and I want to drill. That's not retribution. I'm gonna be, you know, he keeps we love this guy. He says, "You're not gonna be a dictator, are you?" I said, No, other than day one. We're closing the border and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
So that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president.
That's exactly.
First of all, Sean Hannity is such an idiot. I swear to God.
Oh.
He's so bad. But, I mean, he's so stupid. He's joking, right? I'm going to be a dictator for one day. And what's he going to do? He's going to close the border and he's going to drill. And then the left, actually, even left news media said, well, Trump admitted he's going to be a dictator. Yeah, like he's going to admit he's going to be a dictator.
Yeah, I mean, the stupidity is just kind of off the charts because, first of all, who's going to be a dictator for one day? Secondly, what he's saying he would do on that first day are all things that can be done by executive order that would be exactly pretty much reversing what Biden did when the first day he walked into office. So, yes, he's clearly joking. And no, that shouldn't be, well, I mean, come on, this is Trump. Everybody has to go, you know, DEFCON 1 anytime he says anything. But, I mean, yeah, those are the moments that, like, you know, 8 years ago, everyone would have, like, run screaming for the hills. And now I look at them and just roll my eyes.
Right. So it's interesting. I'm sorry, I don't want to get. I do want to stay on this, but you brought up something that I've wondered for a while now. You said DEFCON 1. Do we know what this country's current defense condition is? Is that something that's made public, or is that just, you know? And where are we now? I mean, Christopher Wray went in front of Congress and said, "Oh my God, this is the worst ever. We're gonna get terrorized here."
Right?
Don't you wonder about that sometimes?
Well, yeah. I mean, he was talking about the threat level, which is not quite the same as DEFCON, but it's similar concept. I would have to look it up, Vic. I don't know for sure if that's something that's readily publicized or not, because it seems more like a defense, you know, their terminology and their strategy, that sort of thing. But I think that I have mixed feelings about the alarms being raised. I think there's every reason to expect that we do, you know, there is a heightened threat just because of the circumstances.
Right.
But I also take what Chris Wray says with a grain of salt because he's trying to get 702 reauthorized and get more money for the FBI. So it's to his benefit and to the benefit of his agency to talk about us, all being, the sky is falling and we're all going to die.
Ooh, listen to Susie the skeptic.
Yeah, I love that. So, I mean, he did kind of admit some things that I guess he kind of, what am I trying to say? He changed walked back some of the things he said the first time he was in front of the Senate. And I think more and more we hear him, more and more we know we need a new FBI director. Or how about this? How about a whole new FBI?
At this point, it seems like it. Certainly senior leadership seems to have been, kind of absorbed by the swamp.
Yep. All right, so we have to talk about this, another story that you wrote, which was a great one, by the way, about the presidents of colleges, the UPenn president, and she would not say, when Elise Stefaniak asked her, is talking about genocide, about people, I forget the word, hate crime or whatever she said, and she wouldn't say yes, right? And then she said that, and then all of a sudden the next day she's walking it back, right? And then I said, that's weird. She'd walk it back. Well, why'd she walk it back? Because a donor pulled $100 million from the school.
Yeah, Vic, it speaks to, it really reminded me, watching that testimony, reminded me of Ketanji Brown Jackson when she was asked about what is a woman.
Yeah.
She was so focused on doing that little delicate dance of, using, basically being cute with your words and not stepping on any of the tripwires that are there, that she forgot about, the reality of the situation. Of course she knows what a woman is. That's just silly. Of course calling for genocide is hate speech and against the speech codes of all of these universities. Of course it is. That's an easy answer, unless you're so caught up in the bubble of, the oppression matrix and the DEI mentality as to every single thing you say and do, that you trip yourself up with your stupidity and your words. That would have been the easiest thing in the world for all three of those university presidents to say, yes, calling for genocide is wrong, it's hate speech, and it violates our code of conduct.
You know
period.
what? That is so brilliant. What you just said was so brilliant because
thank you.
They don't want to say, the presidents of these colleges don't want to say anything that might piss off Ilhan Omar or AOC, right, or all their great liberal friends. And same thing on the other side with Ketanji Jackson Brown. Oh, no, wait, no, I'm sorry. No. That's not her name. Her name is Ketanji Brown Jackson. Because that was that's a little less consequential than saying that calling for genocide is not hate speech. I mean, she's just being an idiot, but the same reason, right? Pandering to the left, right?
It's exactly what it is.
God.
And, Vic, every time I say her name, I have to think in my head about that song and make sure I do the opposite, so I get it right.
That's not Ketanji Jackson Brown.
I blame you. I blame you for that. But yeah, no, it's the same. It's the same mentality, and it's just ridiculous. And what they're really scared of? They're not scared of Ilhan Omar. They're scared of their students. They're scared of the people that they have, through their over-intellectualizing and the rot that has infested academia, kind of inculcated in this whole mentality, and they're scared of what they're going to do.
Yeah, and you're right. So let's move on. So much stuff to talk about. Another story that you wrote: a man shouting "Free Palestine" fires shots near an Albany synagogue. Do we think that's going to be an isolated incident? Really?
Well, we can hope. And thankfully, no one was injured in that incident. But yes, last night, the first night of Hanukkah, I think in the late afternoon, this man shot two rounds off from a shotgun on the grounds of this synagogue in Albany. Now, thankfully, he was caught quickly, and they've identified him. It's a mystery what was going on there, but it's not. They are investigating it as a hate crime. They are looking into it, and I think that shouldn't be very hard to figure out given the context. But yeah, I mean, we can certainly hope it's an isolated incident. I have concerns it may not be, just given the way things are right now. But thankfully, as I said, that one ended up, without anybody being injured. But, can you imagine right now, you're trying to celebrate Hanukkah, you're going to your synagogue, and you don't even know if you're safe or not. You don't even know if some crazy is going to be out there with a gun, trying to take people out because they're all wound up over everything. It's scary. It's really upsetting and disheartening.
And there's a big difference, right, with what you just said there, people going to synagogues to celebrate Hanukkah. When Catholics or Christians go to church, midnight mass, and all that on Christmas Eve, they don't really worry about a terrorist attack. They worry about being arrested by the FBI, right? But a little less consequential, I guess, than you may be shot just praying.
Yeah, and I have to confess my ignorance. I just realized I'm not 100% sure that Jews actually go to synagogue on Hanukkah. I think they celebrate at home.
Well, I mean, that's okay. No, you know what?
But I was just thinking about that. Either way, whatever your house of worship is, whether you're a Christian, Jewish, Muslim, whatever, you should be able to go practice your faith in with the safety and security, knowing that no one's out to get you because of your faith.
Right, and that's the whole thing. And, even if there was no one in the synagogue, it certainly is symbolism of what they want to destroy, and that is Jews. Right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I don't know. Susie, I'm an old guy, okay? And I followed news basically my whole life. My father said things to me that I wasn't old enough to understand, because I don't know if he worried he was going to drop dead. He wanted me to know things. For instance, very quickly, the JFK assassination, when I was way too young to understand what a conspiracy was, he told me Lyndon Johnson did it. I swear to God. And in case he dropped dead, I could tell my father said Lyndon Johnson did it. But also with, with Palestine and Israel. The famous story that I tell all the time, it was a Saturday morning. He's making me and him breakfast, and the newspaper was there, and I said, Dad, look, 7-day war's over. And he put that face on, when he's going to yell at me face, and he points and goes, nope. Those people have been fighting for 1,000 years, and they'll fight for another 1,000 years. Well, I'll be damned. He was pretty close.
Yeah. We need more teachers like your dad.
Yeah, he was a good teacher, and he was a principal afterwards. And if I can just one more second on my father, he was a principal of a school, and he knew, if it was a K through 6 school, he knew every single kid's name. And he would stand there outside the school, and he would say good morning to every kid by name. Even if it was running the famous picture of him with his.
I knew that was going to happen, but you know what?
With his green, I'll get it. With his green umbrella, there's a famous picture of him waiting in the rain to greet these kids. So thanks. Yep. All right.
You know what? Think about that. That's such an amazing message. I mean, what more tells the student body that their principal and their school cares about them than that. That's beautiful.
Yep. And the faculty could take a lesson from him.
Yep.
Enough of that. I don't want to cry all morning here. Let's talk about more to the point. Make a joyful noise, Susie.
Yeah. It's that time of year. It's Christmas music time, and a couple of my colleagues had brought up some Christmas music related items, and it got me to thinking about. Well, actually, one of them, Andrew Malcolm, whom I just adore. His column or his podcast yesterday was about a Christmas song he doesn't like, but he included in it this video of, it was like a 2011 ad for T-Mobile of a flash mob in a mall. And it's just a beautiful rendition of a Christmas song. And it just was so it was like everything's peppy and bouncy and everyone's uplifted and has big smiles on their faces. And it's just like, I know it's an ad, but the joy there was kind of contagious. And I was like, we got to remember to do that. That's the make a joyful noise unto the Lord is what we need to remember to do, particularly this time of year. And even in the face of all the darkness, I kind of just wanted to remind people to lift up their voices, lift up their faces and sing.
And I think this year more than ever, I mean, we don't share the religion with Jewish people, but boy, we share that we love our people. Right? I mean, the Jews love their people. We love our people, whether you're Christian or Catholic or whatever you are. And now's a great time for somebody with a lot of money to do something like that. The commercial that Andrew talked about, something that kind of shows, hey, you're Jewish? Hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? Like Karen Cataline in this show has a great relationship. She's just so great. And I don't know. It just upsets me, because again, I've been around for so long, and I've never in my life seen this happen. The Holocaust was history. It was terrible images and footage, of people being massacred. And we haven't learned from that no matter what side of anything you're on, that killing a bunch of people, 1,400 people in one day is bad? Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. So anyway, Andrew Malcolm, your buddy, follows me on Twitter. I just want you to know that.
Yeah, well, that's no small thing. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and he's got 100,000 followers, and he chose me to be
I know,
one of them.
I love it when he retweets my stories. I'm like, thank you, Andrew.
So thank him for that, okay?
I will.
And, of course, thanks for being with us every Friday. Keep on writing. You guys are doing such a great job. I swear to God, great job. And since you brought it up,
you bet.
How about a little Christmas music to take us out, huh?
Perfect.
Thanks, Susie.
Thanks, guys.
Smoozy Q on Twitter.
Hi, Susie.
Redstate.com. Okay, now we got to keep this up for a little while since we even have a little bit of time here.
Yeah.
This is Leroy Anderson is the guy's name, doing, what is it called?
Sleigh Ride.
Sleigh Ride. So there's a part in this song where the horn sections are doing two different things, okay? One's doing the regular melody, and I don't know what you musicians, but you cats call it, but the other horn sections are playing something different, right?
Yeah.
Dun, 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 that when it comes around, that's what one part plays, and then the other part,
the offbeat,
sounds like something you'd hear at a St. Louis Blues hockey game.
All right.
Now you got to tune out the part you know. I know that's hard to do, right? So when you hear the horn section go with the regular melody that you know, you got to really listen hard for the other parts, and then you'll know when to say, let's go Blues. Are you with me, Ken?
Yeah.
All right. I think it's coming up here. Oh, no, it says. Dun, 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 dun. Great song, too, right? Sleigh Ride? This is Sleigh Ride?
Yeah.
Sleigh Ride. Hurry, knives. All right, here it comes. Don't listen to the melody. Try to listen to the other parts. Here we go.
Oh, yeah, I hear it.
Let's go, Blues! All right, so we wanted to talk to Owen Schroyer. Turns out we're not a big shot like Tucker Carlson. Is that what you're telling me, Ken?
Yeah, he just announced, my text message that I received was the fact that he's going to be on Tucker for the exclusive instead of the Vic Porcelli Show.
Now, Nate Lucas has something to do with him even being scheduled to be on with us, right?
Yeah.
So maybe Nate can get word to Owen when he's doing this interview with Tucker to say, I was supposed to be on with Vic Porcelli today.
Right.
But, I Tucker, we'll give you the chance instead. So, Nate, if you're listening, ask Owen to, say, Vic, we'll get back to you. Vic and Ken, thanks so much. NewstalkSTL, all that kind of stuff.
That'd be good. Why not?
Why not? I think he owes us.
Yes,
I think he owes us. So we'll figure out something to do next at 10:25. Wheel of Audio Clips at 10:41 on 101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL. Welcome home.
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
If they had to pay out $159,000 billion lead, I want to be clear.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
So listen, you've been in your house for a long time now. It's time to get that, what do they call it, Ken? The ROI, right? The return on investment.
Yes.
That's what you always want when you buy a house. So if now's the time to call Rodney and Jen Wallner. They are collectively the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. So why the Wallner team, you may ask? Well, let's start with this. This is the best fact I can tell you. They have so many approved home buyers ready to go, ready to pull the trigger, that they'll absolutely guarantee you an offer. Anybody else guaranteeing you anything these days? Rodney and Jen do. They also happen to sell 15 times more homes per year than your typical realtor. They're a great husband and wife team, so you get the great family perspective and no obligation if you decide you don't want to sell your house and you want to stay where you are. No problem. Rodney and Jen will say, you know what, you stay in your house when you're ready, give us a call. And, by the way, breaking news, the Wallner Home Selling Team is now licensed in Missouri and Illinois. So no matter where you are in the listening area, they'll be able to help you. The Wallner Home Selling Team, that happens to be Rodney and Jen Wallner. Give them a call today at 314-810-SOLD, 314-810-SOLD.
Hey, Columbo here with a great holiday offer from the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Just mention the Columbo special when you book a cleaning in the month of December, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $50 off your air duct cleaning. We trust Zero Res because they are simply the best when it comes to cleaning any surface in your home. And just remember to mention the Columbo special when you call 314-474-2020 or book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
That's what happens if you're a Republican and you're accused of lying to the FBI.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
What does the FBI do? The FBI lies to Congress. The Attorney General lies to Congress. The Director of Homeland Security lies to Congress. And then what happens? Nothing happens.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
Because as we all know now, the FBI, the DOJ have become nothing more than the enforcement arm of the leftist government.
Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point.
I'm usually one of those who drags my feet about turning on the Christmas music each year, not because I don't enjoy it, but mainly because it starts playing so early. I don't want to get burned out on it by the time Christmas actually arrives. It was different this year by accident. A colleague shared a video of, kid you not, Austin Powers after I remarked on the fact that Argentina's president-elect, Javier Milei, bears more than a passing resemblance to the Mike Myers character. I watched the video in amusement, of course, and then it autoplayed right over into relaxing Christmas music, soft piano renditions of maybe 4 or 5 classics. Rather than closing out of it, I let it play, and continue to play. It's been an open tab on my computer for a couple of weeks now. I don't play it constantly, but I do return to its soothing melodies when I want to just chill out as I write and edit. Another colleague shared an article and audio commentary Thursday regarding Christmas songs, including one in particular he doesn't care for. But it was a 2011 flash mob video he shared that caught my attention. It's actually a T-Mobile ad, but commercialization aside, as I watched it, I unexpectedly found the tears streaming. Not because it was a sad song, quite the opposite, but because it reminded me of times gone by when it seemed easier to get caught up in making a joyful noise unto the Lord. I think this year, more than ever, I'd like for us all to truly revel in that Christmas spirit.
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter at SmoozyQ and keep listening to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Listen anytime.
It happens
anywhere. Everywhere.
Every day continues to bring more news
with the News Talk STL app. Keep St. Louis's home for conservative talk with you wherever you go. Download the News Talk STL app in the App Store or at NewstalkSTL.com. Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019.
Whoosh.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
One day, some of the kids from the neighborhood carried my mother's groceries all the way home. You know why? It was out of respect.
On News Talk STL.
Ken, how do fingers move this fast?
Pretty amazing.
How does Eric Johnson do it?
It's a gift.
God, I've never heard maybe Stevie Ray Vaughan, the only other one I've seen fingers move that fast.
Well, out of St. Louis, Mike McLaughlin, my old guitar player, could do it.
You've brought him up before.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome home to 1019 94.1 News Talk STL. Wheel of audio clips coming up at 10:41 today. Right now, though, I would like to give some credit to a gentleman who gave us a call. His name is Michael, and he put some comments in the chat box yesterday that Ken and I took issue with, and I said, well, why don't you call us? And you know what? I give him credit. He called us.
Yeah.
So, Michael, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Now, listen, we're gonna have this conversation, you and me and Ken. I just want to lay down some ground rules, okay?
Sure.
So I'm going to give you time to talk, and I'm not going to interrupt you at all. I'm going to let you say your
that.
Yeah, and then you're going to right, because sometimes you don't get that. You get somebody yelling over you. That's not going to happen. So you're going to say your piece, and then Ken and I respectfully request our turn to talk without you interrupting us. Is that fair? Do you accept the rules of engagement?
Absolutely. I was going to ask you the same thing.
Okay, perfect. So, do you want to start? Do you want? You know what? Let's start with what your contention is, and that was Donald Trump with Sean Hannity the other night on Fox.
Issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
what?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not.
drill.
That's not.
No, no.
That's not retribution.
I'm going to be. You know, he keeps. We love this guy. He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No, no, no. Other than day one, we're closing the border." And we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
So that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president.
That's
all right.
Exactly.
All right, Michael. So we're going to let you start. What is your contention with what Donald Trump said during that interview?
Well, I think the reality is that Sean Hannity was asking him if he's going to abuse his power. Okay, he didn't ask him if he was going to drill. He didn't ask him about closing the border. He was asking him about abusing power. Sean Hannity didn't even bring up the word dictator. Donald Trump did. And then he said only on day one. He was asking him if he was going to abuse his power as retribution. I find that highly, highly disturbing to hear. And I think we have to look at it in a sense. I'm sure your viewers aren't going to agree with it. I'm sure you're not going to agree with it. I don't think the election was stolen. I do think there were some small problems, as in every election, that need to be addressed in different places, but nothing that would have made Donald Trump the president. And to me, it is un-American to not accept an election result. And what he said 2 days ago, he said he would be a dictator, which to me, as an American, both of my grandfathers are buried in Arlington National Cemetery, okay? I come from a Gold Star family. My grandfather was a lieutenant colonel who died when he was 37. I never got to meet him. He gave his life for this country. I don't care if he was joking about it, which he clearly wasn't, because Sean Hannity wasn't asking him about drilling for oil or closing the border. He was asking him if he was going to abuse his power, and he's the one that brought up that he would be a dictator.
Okay. So
and if you look at all the steps that he took during this election or the 2020 election, it's clear that this man is very problematic.
Okay.
And I have no problem with Republicans. There is nothing wrong with being a Republican, a conservative. I'm a Democrat. I'm pro-police. I think we do have a problem on the border. I do want, us to lower our deficit. I agree with conservatives in a lot of ways, but this is not okay. And I'm worried that there's too many people too far down the Trump train and they can't get off.
Okay. I need to know when you're done. Are you done? I'm not trying to interrupt you. I just want to know if you're done.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. So let's take a couple of these one at a time. It seems to me like, and don't forget the rules, Michael, okay? It seems to me that you have more of a problem with Sean Hannity using the word retribution than you do Donald Trump. That's what I want to say first. Second of all, one thing you said there was that it's un-American to not accept the results of an election. I believe, and I will give you a chance, I hope you got a pen and a paper, Michael, because I'm going to give you some things I want to get your response on later. Do you not think that Hillary Clinton has not accepted the results of the 2016 election? That's my first question. Just write it down. We'll give you a chance in a second. And when Donald Trump said he was going to be a dictator, what he said he's going to close the border and he's going to drill, baby, drill. What in those words define a dictator? So your turn.
Sure. Well, Hillary Clinton came out the very next day after the election and conceded and never came back and said, actually, I won the 2016 election and everything that Donald Trump has done. We have now proof through the January 6th hearings, which unfortunately, for some reason, Trump supporters refuse to watch. my Republican friends, I said, did you get a chance to watch those hearings? Oh, no. Witch hunt. They won't even bring themselves to actually watch it.
Michael.
So Hillary Clinton did not go even. She conceded the very next day. It's a false equivalency, 100%.
Hold on. I'm not trying to interrupt you here, but when you're talking about the hearings, you're talking about the J6 hearings, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, because I got some stuff to say about that. I also want to come in and say that she has said in interviews that the 2016 election was stolen from her. She blames Comey because of the when he came out and said about the emails and stuff. So she
8 days before the election. Yep.
But she did say that it was stolen from her. And it was rigged and all that.
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
No, I was going to say the same thing. She said that she's disputed the election, and when she would appear, any appearance she would have, they would introduce her as Madam President, and she would smile and say, Thank you.
And she said that Trump was an illegitimate president.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
That is as inflammatory as anything that that anybody has said about the 2020.
Well, and if that's the case, I disagree with Hillary Clinton. And
okay, good, Michael. This is great.
Even as a Democrat, I didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, so
good
I'll
for
just
you.
get that out there.
All right, this is a great conversation. Now, unfortunately we're supposed to break at 10:37. We get yelled at when we're late. We have 30 seconds left, but the J6 hearing. Do you or do you not agree that there was no other side of the story during J6? They never showed Trump saying peacefully protest or peacefully speak your mind. He didn't even say the word protest, right? So many. Do you? And there was nobody. I mean, you can't even count Kinzinger and Cheney as Republicans because they hate him too. I mean, do you admit that there was no real other side of the J6
investigation?
Well, first of all, there were Republicans on that committee. Okay. And the second part of it is the people that they were trying to get on the committee were actually the ones being investigated, such as Jim Jordan, who was a part of this whole thing, who hasn't responded to subpoenas. So how can you have the people that are being investigated for trying to overthrow the will of the people on the actual committee?
So here's the thing. So Nancy Pelosi would not let Jim Jordan or Jim Banks be on the J6 committee, right? And let's just say that you're saying that
Jim Jordan was part of it.
Hold on. If you said that there were two Republicans, let's say you're right. That still was like a 7-2 margin of Democrats over Republicans. And Cheney and Kinzinger hated Donald Trump.
Hate him.
You can find plenty of Republicans that hate Donald Trump. That doesn't make what he did any different or any less inflammatory. All right, Michael.
Do you know how committees work? I mean, do you understand that in the state of Missouri, that if you go to Jefferson City and you see a committee, there's like 3 Democrats and 10 Republicans? Why is that? Because the Republicans have the majority, and that's how committees are put together.
Not that majority, though.
I get it, but okay, you know what, Michael? We're out of time, and we're going to get yelled at already for being late. But first of all,
let me just tell you something real quick. Once again, I have no problem with being a Republican or conservative. I hope that Republicans can have a come to Jesus moment at some point. This man is dangerous. My dad is as conservative as there can be. And the fact that he saw it from day one. I mean, I'll never forget when my dad said to me in 2016, he goes, "It is a really sad day when I have to vote for Hillary Clinton." And I couldn't believe it. But he knew better.
Yeah.
I will tell you something.
What, Mike?
I would love to come back on for another 5 minutes and chat with you about the state of Missouri. I'm a state representative.
Mike, Mike, hold on, Mike. I want to say this. I did have a come to Jesus moment, and that's why I'm voting for Trump.
And I also want to say that.
Wow.
What did he didn't, we don't have time, Michael, but yes, we will do this again. But I don't see anything wrong that he did. His policies worked, right?
Yeah.
Gas prices were low. We were energy independent. There's the music.
He said he was going to drain the swamp. He didn't do it. He said he was going to lower the deficit. He raised it by $7 trillion.
He tried
He said he was going to repeal and place Obamacare. He failed.
We could go on and on.
Okay.
Vic,
Michael, let's have more of this conversation in the future because I want to thank you for calling. You know, I mean, I said on the air yesterday, "Oh, come on, you don't have the balls to call," and you did. So I appreciate that. And I think if there's one thing that we can agree on, you and me and Ken, it's that today's Friday.
Today is Friday.
It's Friday.
Can we agree on that, Michael?
Have a good one, guys.
You too, man. Thanks for calling. All right, so there are things that you and me against Michael are we're never going to agree.
Never going to, no.
Okay.
But I didn't want him to come to Jesus when he said come to Jesus moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had enough of that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the policies. It's the policies. Whenever, Ken, we're so late. I don't know what to do here.
Let's go.
All right, let's go to break.
Yeah.
We'll do the Wheel of Audio, but I do have some things I want to say
about
this whole thing. That's next on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL. Welcome home!
Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Turbocharge turbocharge the emerging global clean energy economy.
On News Talk STL.
All right, listen, sometimes things don't work out the way you plan, right? You work for 30, 40 years, you save your money, you do your 401k, you do all that, and then what comes and slaps you in the face? Long-term care, okay? So if you know somebody, or if you are providing or managing care for a loved one, what are you going to do to make this a little bit more cost efficient? I mean, it's never cost efficient because the emotional cost can never be recuperated. But it's expensive, $60,000 to $70,000, and that's not even if you're in a facility. If you're in a facility, it's $100,000 or more. So listen, Chris Cooper, great triple threat CPA, financial strategist, long-term care planning specialist. He is Serenity Wealth Management. He will help you find tax-efficient solutions to deal with this whole cost of long-term care. He also wrote a book to get you started, so if you want to get the book for free, and then you say, hey, this guy knows what he's talking about, then you give him a call. That's how that works, okay? So get the book for free. It's called The CPA's Guide to Tax-Free Strategies for Long-Term Care. Get it at SerenityLTC.com. That's SerenityLTC.com. Serenity Now with Chris Cooper.
Investment advisory services offered through OWLLFI LLC, a SEC registered investment advisor. This is a paid endorsement. Insurance and education services offered through Serenity Wealth Management.
Serenity Now! Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Will Donald Trump survive the leftist lawfare? Tom Jipping of Heritage at 425 to discuss Bidenflation. Oh my. Dr. Aaron Hedlund at 525.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
I'm Missouri Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe. This holiday season, remember to visit buymissouri.net to find Missouri-made products, manufacturers, and retailers near you. Purchasing goods and services closer to home supports our friends and neighbors by creating jobs and keeping our hard-earned dollars in the local economy. I encourage you to shop local every day, but especially during this holiday season. Visit buymissouri.net and follow @BuyMissouri on social media for more information.
Brought to you by the Missouri Lieutenant Governor's Office. The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter.
Hi, it's Todd Showalter from The Right Mind Show, where we put the fun in our dysfunctional world. And there's nothing more dysfunctional than the holidays. Crowded malls, drunk relatives, and of course, the holiday fruitcake, who I refer to as my Uncle Bob. So join me and my buddy Joey B this Saturday, won't you? Hey, it's better than kissing Grandma under the mistletoe.
The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. Saturday evenings at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you this holiday by LiberalJoke.com.
Fox News commentary.
Military-age male invaders from around the world are filing into our country, and I'm sure they're all just here for the American dream and not to kill us because Joe said so. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Untuckit has everything he needs this holiday season. Shop now and save big with our biggest sale of the year happening at Untuckit.com or at any of the 80-plus Untuckit stores. Untuckit shirts are designed to be worn untucked. They keep him looking sharp and feeling comfortable. He'll love to unwrap one of our iconic button-downs, super soft flannels, or cozy sweaters. Get them while they last during our biggest sale of the year. Shop Untuckit's biggest sale of the year happening now at Untuckit.com or at any of our over 80 stores.
Once again advocating for more Ukraine funding, and are ticked off the Republicans are demanding border security for our own nation. If you take one look at the scene at our southern border, you'll notice it looks heavy on the adult males and light on the fragile women and children seeking asylum. You'll also notice many of these folks are nicely dressed and appear to have luggage one might buy from an Instagram influencer on Black Friday. Migrants from around the world and as far away as China are crossing into our country under the guise of asylum seekers. Well, many certainly don't appear to be downtrodden refugees desperate for food, water, and shelter, though they will get all three courtesy of your hard-earned tax dollars. This is quite clearly a coordinated effort to invade our nation, and it's a well-funded effort. I don't care what Joe Kamala and Mayorkas try to convince you of. You don't just stroll across the border from China. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show Tommy Lahren is Fearless at Outkick.com.
Talk lines are open now at 314-912-1019. The Vic Porcelli Show.
Now, we need to evolve our institutions to drive creative new partnerships. Let me be clear. Certain principles of our international system are sacrosanct.
Made in St. Louis for St. Louis. It's News Talk STL.
All right, welcome home to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. I'm Vic Porcelli. That's the great Ken Williams over there. We just had a listener on who I'm not sure he's a regular listener, but he made a comment in the chat box from yesterday, and we didn't even get a chance. These segments are so. How do long segments end up being so short?
I don't know.
So yesterday in the chat box, he said, "Is this guy a lobbyist for the fossil fuel industry?" That was the guy we had from the Green New Deal is crap company. It's not what it's called, but that's what it is. Then he said, "I didn't hear the whole show. Did Vic defend him and laugh it off, even though it was clear he wasn't joking?" See, this is where I screwed up. I should have held him to the fire on that comment right there.
Yeah.
You did not. You really thought that Donald Trump wasn't joking when he said, "Yeah, I'm going to be a dictator for one day," when nothing that he said was dictatorial, okay? Drilling and closing the border is not dictatorial, okay? And then he said, "Are you going to talk about that Trump said he would be a dictator? Sean Hannity tried to save him, but Trump doubled down and said it again. How un-American can you get?" Donald Trump was joking, "Oh, I'm going to be a dictator for one day." Joe Biden is doing it every day. He's actually doing dictator stuff through his administration, okay? Companies and towns that want to have nothing but electric cars. You can't have an electric stove. People streaming in through the border, I mean, we didn't have time, Ken. In the words of Don Corleone, "This wasn't enough time, Michael.
It just wasn't
enough time."
Totally agree with you.
Okay. Let's go.
Wheel of Audio Clips!
You're good. You're the best.
It's America's favorite game show, The Wheel of Audio Clips. Here's the host of Wheel of Audio Clips, Vic Porcelli.
All right, thank you, Jim Aldridge, very much. Thank you, studio audience. How you doing? Oh, ladies, I love ya. Okay. Ken, I don't know what to do with this situation here. This guy, Michael, clearly doesn't like us. He did have the guts to call us, but I didn't get to some of the things I really wanted to get to with him.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to be polite and let him, do his thing.
We'll get around to it another time. Just hang on to that, and we will.
And I don't know if you heard him say he's a state rep. He's a state representative.
Okay.
We'll have to get the lowdown.
And we're citizens of Missouri, so
Nick,
that,
We'll have to get the lowdown from Nick Schroer on what he's like.
He represents us, so.
Okay. Wheel of Audio Clips. We take the audio clips of people in the news all week, and then we spin the wheel, and wherever it lands, that's what we play. Ken, are you ready to go?
No.
Ken, in a second when you're ready to go, spin that wheel, and we're right here we go. All right, how about some Donald Trump? How about some no Joe Biden? Hey, I think this is a first. It's not Joe Biden.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God, it's Greg Gutfeld.
So Musk may be the last man standing between real freedom of speech and the suffocating block of the censorship industrial complex, which is made up of government, media, and tech forces. He realizes that advertisers have no spine and can be easily cowed by special interest groups in cahoots with political allies. If you don't believe me, I got 2 words for you. Tucker Carlson. Woohoo.
Woohoo.
Wow. Look at that.
So a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Greg decided he was going to stick up for Tucker finally after being told, I'm sure, don't talk about Tucker Carlson being fired. And he kind of did in his little way there.
Oh, he did.
And there was big time weirdness.
Yeah, a very loud silence.
Yeah. And then finally somebody said, ooh. All right, let's do another. Spin that wheel. All right, how about some Trump? Donald Trump. Donald Trump. No. Yeah. Oh, really? Do we have to play this guy?
Yeah.
It says John Kerry. Do we have to play John Kerry?
Yeah.
Well, he swears it's not about politics.
Biden on Ukraine and also China. There's polling by the Associated Press that shows that almost 70% of Americans, including 40% of Democrats, believe that you acted either illegally or unethically in regards to your family's business interests. Can you explain to the Americans, amid this impeachment inquiry, why you interacted with so many of your son and brother's foreign business associates?
I'm not going to comment on that. I did not, and it's just a bunch of lies.
You didn't interact with many of their business associates?
I did not. There's lies.
By Joe Biden.
I'm laughing at a couple of things. I'm laughing at John Kerry, who has the... By the way, Ken, did you see that they had a climate conference in Munich, right?
Yeah.
Climate change, global warming, and there was such a bad snowstorm and ice storm, the planes couldn't take off.
Right.
So stick that up your...
Climate hole.
Yeah, yeah, stick that up your climate hole. Okay, let's finish. All right, come on, Trump. I don't want to hear from Hakeem Jeffries. Come on, Ken. We have to. I mean, we have to. We have to be fair. But Hakeem Jeffries.
There's not a scintilla of evidence that Republicans have produced to show that President Joe Biden has engaged in wrongdoing, an impeachable offense, or in any way has broken the law. Why? Because there is no evidence that exists to implicate President Joe Biden in anything nefarious. President Biden is a good man.
Yeah.
He's a good and decent and hardworking man. And that's been his entire life in public service.
You could call it public service.
You could.
Or you could call it public extortion.
You could. You should.
So, Ken, can you do me a favor with this particular clip? Can you save this in some sort of special folder, some special file?
Sure.
Because when this stuff comes, now Hunter's being indicted.
Right.
Why is Hunter being indicted? Because his father's a crook.
Right.
So that's going to start coming out. And I want to play this Hakeem Jeffries thing about the scintilla of evidence to death.
Yeah, I think we should probably make it a quick key.
Oh, that's a good idea. See, that's why he runs the show and I don't. All right, how much time do we have? We don't have much time.
Let's go.
Okay, go. Spin the wheel.
Oh.
All right, no Trump. Hey, no Biden. I don't believe it hasn't run on Biden. So this is this is about young men in their 20s, what you call, Ken, military age. Is that what you call them?
Yeah.
Military age coming across the border.
I love you, Joe Biden. Thank you for everything, Joe Biden. I'm a good person. I want to be a good person here in the United States.
I came here because I want quality life. You know, America is a land of opportunity.
So, guess who loves
They didn't sound
Biden?
Hispanic.
No, he didn't sound Hispanic.
Not at all. Not even close. And they weren't. I saw the video.
Bill Malugin was interviewing some of these people. Where do you want to go? Oh, Omaha. I want to go to Oklahoma. All these places they wanted to go to that doesn't seem like sanctuary to me.
Right.
Like they didn't even want to go to the same place. They all wanted to go to different places. Why is that?
Right.
For a multiple front against us?
Yeah, they have specific cities they wanted to go into.
Why? How does a guy from Afghanistan find out about Oklahoma?
Yeah. And
or
they would
Omaha?
say that. They would say that. Omaha, Nebraska.
So what the hell's going on, Ken?
Yeah.
All right, spin the wheel.
All right.
Now. Spin it now. You can be replaced. Now. All right. No Biden. No.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you know what? We lost a great producer and creator of All in the Family. What's his name? Norman Lear. And we had this whole talk about All in the Family the other day, right? and we realized how prophetic Edith Bunker was back on All in the Family.
Going to Disney World?
Stifle, stifle, stifle. Go ahead, spin that wheel. Norman Lear, we're going to miss you, man. Dead at the age of 101. By the way, great big lib. We pay tribute anyway because Ken and I can separate politics and art. Oh, come on, Ken. You fixed it, didn't you? This is real?
Yeah.
Donald Trump.
Issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you under no circumstances. You are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border and I want to drill.
That's
drill,
not. That's
drill.
That's not.
No, no.
That's not retribution. I'm
going to be. You know, he keeps. We love this guy. He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No, no, no. Other than day one, we're closing the border." And we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator.
So that sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president.
That's
all right.
exactly.
How is that not joking? Of course he's joking.
Right.
He's joking. He's not going to be a dictator. By the way, Biden is a dictator.
Yes.
All right. That's all the time we have for the Wheel of Audio Clips. This is Vic Porcelli saying, help control the liberal population. Have your liberal spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody. All right. Thank you so much for listening this morning. This week, this could be our last show in this studio. We could be in the big studio by Monday. How about that? Thanks for having the record player on at night to listen to us this morning.
Make sure you have the record player on at night.
Kenny and I will see you on Monday. Have a great weekend and keep it here on News Talk STL.
This Saturday night at 10 on Stories of New Americans.
I'm joined by Dr. Khaled Jumian, who is originally from Jordan.
Then I went to Joplin, Missouri. I know you're going to ask about the tornado. I was in the hospital which being destroyed by the tornado.
Were you really?
There was like two hospitals across, one destroyed, one is not, but we opened tents and we treated patients in tents.
Stories of New Americans, Saturday nights at 10 on News Talk STL.
Hey, Tony Colombo here for Gutter Pros. When Christine and I bought our new house, we knew the gutters were an issue, and after meeting the Gutter Pros team, we knew that they were right for us. Gutter Pros is your all-in-one gutter service team that offers a variety of affordable solutions, and they even offer free estimates, so there's no cost to you to find out if they are right for your home, just like they were for ours. If you're having a problem with your gutters, contact the Gutter Pros now, because with Gutter Pros, water goes where they tell it to. Call them at 314-656-7195 or visit gutterpros.com.
Mom, what do you always say? There's nothing sadder than jewelry that sits in a drawer. That's why we are proud to offer jewelry repair on site at Newstalk's Fine Jewelry. We know that your jewelry is important to you, and we take that part of our job very seriously. Visit us at Doherty Ferry in Big Bend or learn more at wowdiamonds.com.
Diana from Newstalk's Fine Jewelers here to remind you, we don't just offer the best pieces, we offer one of the last master hand engravers in our country. My father can create timeless, personal, and unforgettable pieces. Come by our showroom at the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or learn more online at wowdiamonds.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Our good friend Congressman Eric Burleson.
We're now under impeachment inquiry. We're moving towards the efforts to be able to get the Biden's bank records. I think that we have now enough evidence to win that over to court. It's going to probably take 2 to 3 months. If I had to predict, I think that we will be impeaching Biden by spring.
Wow.
That's where things are headed.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4
on News Talk STL.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at
NewstalkSTL.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The nation's employers have added nearly 200,000 jobs last month. In a sign, the economy and the job market are still expanding despite higher interest rates. Jackie Quinn reports.
The Labor Department report shows many employers are still hiring, with 199,000 jobs added for November, although some were because thousands of striking auto workers and actors returned to work. The unemployment rate dropped from 3.9 to 3.7%. The number of people receiving unemployment benefits has risen, as many of the jobs are concentrated in only a few sectors: healthcare, restaurants, hotels, and government. I'm Jackie Quinn.
The president's son, Hunter Biden, indicted on tax charges in California. As a special counsel investigation into his business dealings intensifies, the indictment including 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors. Also at townhall.com, U.S. and Iraqi officials say a rocket attack at the sprawling U.S. embassy in Baghdad has caused minor material damage but no casualties.
An Iraqi security official says 14 Katyusha rockets were fired on Friday, of which some struck near one of the embassy's gates, while others fell in the river. A U.S. military official says rockets hit the vicinity of Union 3 that houses offices of the U.S.-led coalition. Iran-backed militias in Iraq have claimed responsibility for dozens of attacks that have targeted bases housing U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria since the Israel-Hamas war began 2 months ago. The embassy is in Baghdad's heavily fortified Green Zone, which houses Iraqi government buildings and embassies as well. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
On Wall Street now, the Dow is ahead 9 points. The S&P 500 is down a point. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group, because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898, and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
From the Michael's Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Unseasonably mild again today, but clouds are taking over. I'm forecasting a high of 63 this afternoon, still about 15 degrees warmer than normal for early December. Breezy this evening, scattered showers developing, a rubble of thunder or two possible overnight and early Saturday morning, but the rain gets out of here quickly tomorrow morning. We briefly climb into the mid-50s Saturday before temperatures plunge Saturday evening into Sunday, down to 31 Sunday morning, a high that afternoon at only 42. What a change. That's your first alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
Do I have a place for you folks as we head into these beautiful fall weather months? Espino's Mexican Grill. You can find them 24/7 at espinosmexicanbargrill.com, and you can find them 24/7, 365 at 17409 Chesterfield Airport Road, right in the heart of Chesterfield Valley, just off of Interstate 6440. Espino's Mexican Grill, nearly 2 decades in the business. I've been going there for years. They have a fantastic menu of authentic Mexican fare, not the typical stuff you get around town, and the coldest drinks around. Did I mention the margarita patio? That's what I call it, outside. Fantastic addition that Espino's put in several years ago. Espino's is a fresh alternative to the typical stuff you get. Once you go once, you'll be back many, many times. Check them out online, espinosmexicanbargrill.com, located at 17409 Chesterfield Airport Road. Best authentic Mexican fare and best coldest drinks around in town.
It's been a very busy year for Wellington Environmental. Tom and his staff had traveled all over making sure that minor issues don't become major disasters. Then there are the times Wellington is called in for emergencies, but nothing Wellington hasn't seen before. They have certified inspectors, chemists, scientists, environmental planners, and that's just some of their expertise. That is why the St. Louis Business Journal gave Wellington such a high ranking. So what will 2024 bring? No one knows, but if you take time to visit the Wellington Environmental Facebook, you're going to see things that might explain health issues at your home or business, affecting you, your family, clients. Wellington Environmental Facebook. Tom Wellington and the entire staff wish you a blessed 2024. Your world, cleaner, better, safer. So, as always, be well with Wellington.
News, analysis, opinion.
I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing that I can go campaign on and say we did.
That matters to St. Louis.
I'm afraid to think about the next presidential election.
101.9 and 94.1. News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
From the NYPD to the Secret Service to behind the microphone, taking the fight to the radical left and the putrid swamp. You're listening to the Dan Bongino Show. Here he is, Dan Bongino.
So Jim's telling me we just automated the system for the show. So Jim does the few. He's like, already, bro? Really? There's like a rule in radio, right, Jim? You've been doing this 30 years. I've only been doing it 2. So you got me beat by a little bit, like by a factor of over 10 there. The rule in radio, right, Jim, is if you have a technical thing, you just move on like nothing happened. And I told Jim, because he was a little worried. Were you not, Jim? You were like, Dan, I don't know if the show is actually going to start. This is our first day with this new system. So he said, if it does, just act like nothing happened. I said, well, you know I'm not going to do that, right? I said, you understand if it doesn't work that it's going to become part of the show and we'll refer to it forever like a Goofy Glue incident, correct? Which is against every rule of radio. But that's okay. It's okay. We've broken every rule, and we're still pretty much number one. So we'll take it. We'll take it. Whatever's doing. I got a loaded show. I got so much to talk about. I had a hard time on the podcast finding out where to start. But, hey, on a positive note. Well, before the positive note, let me just put an asterisk next to this. I'm not suggesting on this positive note we should start cracking bottles of Dom Perignon and take a victory lap, okay? In the culture war the left is waging on us, they're waging on us. We're just fighting back and they don't like it. We are definitely, 10 laps behind if it's a marathon on a quarter-mile track, at least. The only point I'm trying to make here is we are definitely catching up. Ladies and gentlemen, we are starting to win. Are we winning? We are not. Should we take a celebratory lap? Hell to the... No, we can't. It's good, though. We can curse today. It's Friday, so it's okay. Wait, Jim said... It's... No, I just... Really? The BAP board guy told me it was okay. He said it was... Oh, he didn't? Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, maybe is... Oh, they do. Who's that?
Back there is not real.
Tiffany has something to say about... She's even getting involved in the FCC stuff? Dude, you got to keep her right. You're HR's. You got to have HR problems. So you're working her way too hard. Maybe Rube from the podcast. If you know, you know. Folks, we're starting to take scalps. We're starting to win these things. Whether it's Disney, whether it's Target, whether it's been the NFL noticeably introducing more and more. I'm not suggesting like they're still not woke culture warriors, but I'm seeing more and more they're starting to distance themselves from a lot of this stuff. We are taking real scalps here. And what happened up on the Hill this week with those college presidents who remarkably could not unequivocally condemn genocide, I would say is a turning point, but no. It's not. The turning point was Disney. The DeSantis fight against Disney, I don't care about where you are in the primary. I'm telling you that he started something there that really changed the culture war for the better, and we owe him for that. There's no doubt about that. I don't care where you are in the primary. This is above that. That was the shift. Jim, would you agree? That that did real damage, and now it's piling up. What I'm getting at here, and I'm going to get Hunter Biden in a minute. I didn't forget or anything, but the Harvard professor President Gay, has now had to issue apparently another apology. She spoke to the Harvard Crimson. This is like the third apology. And she's like, oh, words matter now. Oh, words matter. You just figured out now now you've been telling us pronouns matter forever. You go on the Harvard campus and you refuse to call a transgender person Ji, Zhao, Zhou. You'll be on the naughty list this year for Christmas. You'll get cold. Matter of fact, you get a suspension and kicked out of school. But then it was weird when words like from the river to the sea, which were unquestionable calls for Jewish genocide, are said on college campuses. All of a sudden, words didn't matter anymore. Now she's back to words matter, Jim. She's all over the place. Words don't matter, words matter, words don't matter, words don't matter. So weird. So we're going to do a little test here for you. For those folks out there who are pro-Hamas, pro-raping of Israeli women, you're probably demon savages. But there's some out there. Some are probably listening right now because they hate my guts. I had to get some agua there. Let's do a little test. Jim, you ready for this test? And don't cheat. He's like, how can I not cheat? I already heard. Well, pretend you didn't. Open your mic for us, Jim. The audience likes to hear. So if it's okay, according to Harvard and others, to call for from the river to the sea, which is referring to the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea. Jim, what's between those two things again? I always forget. I'm terrible with this geography.
Israel.
Oh, Israel. And who lives in Israel largely? The population is
Jewish people.
Jewish? Oh, they do. Okay, again, I'm new to this radio business. I got to learn this stuff. And if you got a Charlie Brown encyclopedia can help, I'd appreciate it. So I just learned that the other day, that Israel is from the Jordan River to the sea. So if you were calling for from the river to the sea, who do you want to get rid of from the river to the sea? I'm just checking here.
That would be Jewish people.
That would be Jewish. Okay, good. So let's do a little integrity test for the river to the sea crowd and President Gay from Harvard. I'm a New York kid. So do you think if some white dude, you know what, let's make it even worse. Let's say he's an actual white supremacist. I mean like a real hardcore a-hole, right? Like he's an actual racist. He believes white people are supreme, which is moronic and makes him a racist and an obvious a-hole. But play the game with me for a minute. So, it's okay to say from the river to the sea over there. So this white dude who's a white supremacist, say he's got some Facebook posts that's like Nazi stuff on it or whatever. It's crazy we got to do this, but liberals are so dumb, maybe this will make sense. So he walks on to Harvard. And Jim, I'd love your thoughts if you think this would be acceptable. The white guy, and he has a sign up there. And on the sign, while he's got some kind of white supremacist garb on, say he shaves his head to make it worse too, he has a sign that says, from 112th Street in Manhattan to 137th Street. Now, Jim, you're a New York guy. Do you
I'm
think
familiar with that place.
You're familiar with it? Okay. What area is that in New York?
That would be Harlem.
That would be Harlem, yeah. Yeah, what? I worked up there in the 32nd Precinct as a police officer. I'm just checking again, Jim. Do you think that guy would be allowed to do that on the college campus? Just throwing it out there. Just guess.
No.
No, okay, no, he took a second. Yes, no. He would probably be in an FBI gulag tomorrow morning. And listen, the guy's a loser and an obvious racist, but it's kind of weird because you see now the intellectual test you have to apply to the left when you don't have principles again. So it's okay to say from the river to the sea is when you're talking about wiping out Jews. But if you mention any other place that involves any other ethnic group, that's definitely not okay. You see how, again, when you don't have principles, you see how you tie yourself in these little knots all the time? Now, I must hat tip Guy from the podcast. He brought up an interesting conundrum, Jim, I had not considered. He said, what if Harlem was largely Jews? I don't know. The pro-Hamas people are now they're like, oh, man, I didn't really think of that. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Yeah, that's fine. You see how, again, like when you do the intellectual tests like Jim and I did yesterday? Like, hey, how do you feel about genocide? And, Jim, how long did it take me to answer that question? It was pretty quick, right? Did I have to stew on it?
Quarter of a second,
maybe. Yeah, genocide, definitely no good. Definitely no good. You see how Harvard, the smartest people among us, when they tie themselves into knots because they're like, well, I don't really love this group, but I love that group, and the exploitation narrative and brown people versus these people, instead of thinking of human beings as human beings. You see how you make yourself look like an idiot all the time? Yeah. We're just going to stick with some general principles, which is we respect human life. You're all children of God. You all have God-given rights. And it doesn't matter the color of your skin or the religion you practice. You have God-given rights. Easy. Really not hard. All right. Moving on. I got some important news. I was putting the show together. We had so much material from yesterday. I promised Jim I wasn't going to send a lot of stuff. And then I'm like coasting. Last night was a good night. I don't eat steak a lot anymore because, red meat's good for you in limited amounts. But, with the whole lymphoma thing, I got to chill with it. I'd eat it every day if it's me. But lady brought by some steak last night. She cooks for us once in a while. Why? Honestly, because I'm just lazy, if I can be honest with you. Usually I'll just get something. But she dropped off some steak, and it was pretty good. So I'm eating my steak, I'm chilling, like life is good. I had a little bit of sauerkraut, too. Good for the stomach, probiotic. And I'm like, show's almost done. And all of a sudden, I see breaking news. I'm like, here we go. What happened now? Breaking news. Hunter Biden was indicted, a 9-count indictment, apparently, on tax charges. Now, unlike the left-wing media, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you the straight skinny. Let's just start with the pros and the cons. Let me talk first to the people who are like, listen, nothing is happening. This thing is worthless. And I get you, brothers and sisters, I get you. The justice system sucks. It is the injustice system. It's broken. I'm not defending it. I'm only playing devil's advocate so you become a better debater with your friends. You become a master debater. You have to separate those words. Say them fast and you'll see what I mean. Or else you will not see it. In other words, you have to separate or else something said you don't want to say. So you'll become a master debater if you understand the devil's advocacy I'm playing right here. Folks, I was a federal agent for a long time. Who cares? Well, it matters here. I've read a ton of indictments, probably over 500 indictments, informations, and complaints. They're all charging documents. They're not the same thing, but they do the same thing. They get bad guys in jail, and they lay out what the bad guy did. It's not complicated. It's you telling a story. I've written them. You tell the story of what the bad guy did, and who are you telling a story to? A judge who has to determine if the story you told meets probable cause that a crime was committed and by that person. Those two things have to be met. I read the indictment. It's only for tax stuff. And folks, it's pretty damning. He's in a lot of trouble on the tax stuff. Dan, this is nothing. Yeah. Hold. Braveheart style. Hold. Just hold before you fillet me. I'm not saying there isn't something big missing. There is. I'm going to get to that. I'm simply stating a fact, having read hundreds of indictments, especially on tax stuff. This is bad. This guy is in a world of trouble, and even in a plea deal, I don't see any way he avoids prison time. Now, let's get to the bad stuff. It is clearly obvious at this point that the Justice Department is protecting someone. I know what you're thinking. What are you thinking? Oh, they're protecting Joe Biden. Yeah, but that's not who I'm talking about. Well, who the hell else are they protecting in this DOJ indictment against Hunter? Folks, they're protecting Obama. You mean Biden? No, I mean Obama. I mean exactly what I said. There's something suspiciously missing from this, folks. This indictment does not have a Foreign Agent Registration Act charge. In other words, Hunter Biden was taking money from foreign governments, which they acknowledge clearly in the indictment, clearly, and under no uncertain terms. But it's weird. They acknowledge he was doing it. We now have bank records showing his dad got money, but they don't acknowledge that Hunter Biden was acting as an agent of a foreign government, which, if you read the indictment, is clear as day. Why would they leave that out? Why? Why? Think with me, brothers and sisters. Why would they leave Foreign Agent Registration Act stuff out? Because it ropes in Joe Biden. Because if Hunter Biden was getting paid by foreign governments to influence something, yet he didn't have influence in the government in a power sense, who did? Oh, his dad. And where was Hunter Biden, follow me, getting the money from? Ukraine. While his dad was the vice president. who Obama appointed as what? Yes, the point man on Ukraine. So the good news is these tax charges are no joke. I'm going to go through them. Wait till you see it's detailed too. The bad news is they are absolutely protecting Barack Obama because the minute a FARA charge, a Foreign Agent Registration Act crime, is levied against Hunter Biden, who do you think is going to be a witness in that case? You're damn right, Joe Biden and Barack Obama. What did you know about your vice president's role in Ukraine while your son was collecting money? That's who they're protecting, the DOJ right now. All right, I'm not even close to done with this. I got a lot more to say. Don't go anywhere. Big show today. We'll be right back.
Bongino.
Is inflation taking a toll on your pocket? You know it is. The dollar shrinking daily? Well, it's time to join AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. With AMAC, you can save from 10 to 65% on products like cell phones and plans, health and wellness products, travel and lodging, vision, dental, and prescription drugs. Go to amac.us/Dan. The savings alone will more than pay for your subscription. They even have an advisory service for Social Security and Medicare that'll answer any questions you have. Join AMAC today at amac.us/Dan. Thinking of or in the middle of retirement? AMAC Financial Planning and Retirement Planners can help you learn more about life insurance, IRA rollovers, and investment advice from its referral partners. Head on over to amac.us/Dan. Don't wait. Discover savings that make dreams come true. Discover a world of savings on everything to fuel your future. It all starts at AMAC, amac.us/Dan, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Better for you, better for America.
Dan Bongino.
It's a pretty simple concept.
It is clear to me.
Let me make this clear.
Big events.
Your news and your opinions.
We're going to get out there and be heard.
St. Louis's place to talk.
Our voices are never heard in the media. We, the people, will always find a way.
And it's about time that we start putting up or shutting up.
Yeah, and you should come. You should listen to many voices.
101.9 and 94.1.
Their phone lines have surely been burning up.
News Talk STL.
Are you a natural leader driven by the desire to make a lasting impact? Is your deepest calling to be an elected official making a real difference? Now, picture yourself with the power to shape the future in St. Louis City. St. Louis needs your leadership now more than ever. The urgency is real. The Republican Party, City of St. Louis can help you file, be your guiding force, and support you during the campaign. Contact stlouisrepublicans.com and step into your destiny.
Paid for by St. Louis City Republican PAC. Curtis Farber, Treasurer.
Kids don't always like to get school report cards, but they are important and helpful. They document subjects where they're strong and others where they need to show some improvement. Ever wonder why you don't get a report on how your child's school compares to others? At the Show Me Institute, we think you should, and that's why we've started the Missouri School Rankings Project. Click on the website moschoolrankings.org, and it's all there. Rankings and letter grades for all the schools in Missouri. The rankings are based on several categories, such as student performance in English, language arts, and math, ACT scores, and graduation rates. Then we take the rankings and come up with a grade point average, just like your child has. Each school and district will have a grade, and the website is easy to use. Don't you want to know how your child's school stacks up? Now you can. Learn more at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
News, analysis, opinion.
The key to winning in 2024.
I think we need to focus on who's in front here, who's bad for our party, and who would be bad for this country.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
This is not all kumbaya.
And NewstalkSTL.com. News, analysis, opinion. News Talk STL.
Drug-free relief factor. You know, we all get a little bit older every day, and we all experience aches and pains. Many people even struggle just to get out of bed in the morning and face the world. If you're one of them, then you could be exactly the person Relief Factor was made to help. Let me tell you about Catherine in Pennsylvania. She had shoulder aches, and I mean the kind that were ruining her life. She decided to give Relief Factor a try because she'd heard so many of us on the radio singing its praises. And guess what? After only a few weeks, her pain was nearly gone. No side effects, just relief. Many of my friends and I take Relief Factor every single day. Hundreds of thousands of others have tried it, and about 70% have gone on to order more. Your first step to becoming pain-free just might be to order the 3-week quick start for only $19.95. Go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. Feel the difference.
Unraveling the damage done from media manipulation. The Dan Bongino Show.
Folks, they're protecting Obama with this indictment. Yes, I didn't say that wrong. It's clear as day. What's left out of this Hunter Biden indictment yesterday is the bigger story. I'm going to go through the indictment and why it does matter either way. I mean, if I can take what I'll take now, I'll take it. I'll still be ticked off about the rest wasn't in it, but I've got to take something at this point. They're protecting Obama. I just need you to think through what I told you before. If you charge Hunter Biden with a Foreign Agent Registration Act crime, that he was acting on behalf of a foreign country, then where did the money go? Well, the money trail ends with his dad, and it starts with China. Of course his dad's going to be called to the stand. And then who's going to be called to the stand to talk about why the dad was the point man on Ukraine? Obama, who made Biden the point man on Ukraine, where a lot of the money came from. That's the only reason they're keeping this out. I don't think that, I think they're done with Biden. I mean it. The left wing and the media are done with Biden. What makes you think that, Dan? You shouldn't just speculate. I'm not. I have clips I'll play for you in today's show of CNN and others just trashing Joe Biden. It's not because they're trying to do journalism. It's not. It's because they realize they have a wounded duck political candidate who, if the status quo sticks and the economy doesn't get any better and there's not World War III before next November, is going to lose to Trump by 3 to 5 points. They need this guy out, but they cannot have liberalism fall by having their golden calf, Obama's reputation, tarnished. They can't. So they're going to do everything they can to insulate Joe Biden only because he was Obama's vice president. They would have thrown this guy overboard already if it had nothing to do with Obama. I can't believe other people aren't picking up on this. It's an Obama problem, not a Biden problem for the media. Kelsey talks about finding out how she was pregnant. Thankfully, an ultrasound provided at a preborn network clinic allowed her to hear her baby's heartbeat.
When a mother looks at her child through a sonogram, it does something to you. You know, I ended up deciding to keep my son, who is now 5 years old today. He's amazing. He brings absolute joy to my heart. I could not imagine life without him. Not only did they help me save his life, they saved my life.
If you have the means, would you consider a leadership gift to save babies in a big way? Your tax-deductible donation of $5,000 will sponsor Preborn's entire network for 24 hours, helping to rescue about 200 babies. And now, through a match, your gift is doubled, saving twice as many babies' lives. To donate, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby, or donate securely at preborn.com/Bongino. That's preborn.com/Bongino. That's preborn.com/Bongino. Preborn is a 501c3 organization.
Dan Bongino. Are you over?
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The nation's employers adding an impressive 199,000 jobs, and the unemployment rate fell, the rate dropping from 3.9 to 3.7%, not far from the five-decade low of 3.4% back in April. The president's son, Hunter Biden, has been indicted on tax charges in California as a special counsel investigation into his business dealings intensifies against the backdrop of the 2024 election. Thursday's indictment has 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors. The new charges are in addition to federal firearms charges in Delaware, alleging Hunter Biden broke laws against drug users having guns back in 2018. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 38 points now, and the NASDAQ adding 20 points. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, an evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group, because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898, and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
Subscribe and watch your favorite News Talk STL shows.
Mike Ferguson in the morning, The Vic Porcelli Show, Columbo and Katie, Jones and Arps.
Webcam streaming on Facebook, Twitter, Rumble.
Subscribe and watch
News Talk STL.
Hey, Columbo here with a great holiday offer from the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Just mention the Columbo special when you book a cleaning in the month of December, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $50 off your air duct cleaning. We trust Zero Res because they are simply the best when it comes to cleaning any surface in your home. And just remember to mention the Columbo special when you call 314-474-2020 or book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
Hi, it's Mark McCloskey from My Pillows. My Pillow is excited to bring you their biggest bedding sale ever just in time for Christmas. Get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. Rejuvenate your bed with a My Pillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. They also have blankets in a variety of sizes, colors, and styles. They even have blankets for your pets. Get quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more, all with the biggest discounts ever. They're also extending their money-back guarantee for Christmas until March 1st, 2024, making them the perfect gift for your friends, your family, and everyone you know. So go to MyPillow.com and use promo code ONFIRE or call 800-645-1392, and you'll get huge discounts on all MyPillow bedding products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98, and get all your shopping done now while the quantities last.
Columbo and Katie.
Top university presidents are facing backlash after their hearings on Capitol Hill about anti-Semitism. Will they be able to keep their jobs? We'll talk about this with Gabe Pfeiffer and Ken Williams at 2:05 on Friday.
Weekdays at 2
on News Talk STL.
News, analysis, opinion.
News Talk STL.
Any questions? Call 8444-THE-USA to get the answers. 844-484-3872. The Dan Bongino Show.
So a couple things on this Hunter Biden indictment. We got to get out of the way first. Okay, the lack of a FARA charge in there is a big deal. They're not charging Hunter Biden with being an agent for a foreign country because, as I said before the break, an agent for a foreign country to influence who? His dad, who worked with who? Obama. They're protecting Obama. Okay, now that we got that out of the way. However, there is a small opening here. Now, do I think anything's going to happen on the FARA front against Hunter Biden that would implicate his dad and Obama? I don't, not now. If there's a Republican president, justice prevails, I hope so. But make no mistake, there's a window if we get a Republican president to actually do something about this. And for anyone out there going, oh, it's not worth wasting our time, I can totally see like the swampy Republican class going, we should just leave it alone and move on. No, I'm not about leaving anything alone. New rules, baby. You want them around and find out, then you're going to find out. You want to prosecute Donald Trump saying Mar-a-Lago's worth $2 million? Okay, we can do that too. The difference is your guy, Joe Biden, actually committed crimes, it appears. So we're going to play that game too. New rules, kids, new rules. I'm not letting any of this go. And if we get a Justice Department actually interested in justice in the biggest presidential scandal of all time, a president, Obama, who appointed a vice president to be the point man on Ukraine, whose son then took money in Ukraine, appearing to influence Ukrainian natural gas policy, then that's a BFD. Big deal. And I ain't letting it go. I got a microphone, and I'm going to use it. I'm not letting anything go. Jim, cue up for me cut one. Catherine Herridge at CBS is one of the few good reporters out there. Herridge has been playing it straight in this Hunter Biden case. This is about 40 seconds, but I want you to listen to this. Do I think anything's going to happen with this DOJ? No. But David Weiss could have worded, the special prosecutor for Hunter Biden, could have worded the indictment differently to not include some of the stuff that was in there, which says to me, even though I don't think he's going to do anything, he may be leaving the door open if Biden loses for someone else to come in and actually prosecute Hunter Biden and then his dad. The fairer thing is the key. Listen to Catherine Herridge on it. Check this out.
Now, you mentioned there could be more charges. What makes you think that?
It's just my reading of the document. In the first page, I think the language is that they describe him as a lobbyist. Lobbyists have to register under what's called FARA, the Foreign Agents Registration Act, which is a government way of saying that if you're working on behalf of foreign interests, you have to tell the U.S. government. In this case, the indictment spends a lot of time talking about Hunter Biden's business deals with the Ukraine energy firm Burisma. It also talks about his work with a Chinese energy firm, CEFC, and it also talks about his work with Romania. And that, to me, seems to leave the door open to potential FARA violations.
I got a lib messaging me on Facebook. You are desperate and thirstiest. Thanks, bro. Thanks a lot. Adam Arellano. He's very upset. Thanks. Thanks for listening, Adam. It's good to know. You know, you contribute to my income, which I then use to donate to defeat people like you and all this. So I appreciate you listening. Thank you very much. Spread the word. They're trying to hide Obama. They're trying to hide Obama. Now, let's switch to some good news for a moment. The good news is the indictment is pretty damning on the tax stuff, okay? Wall off the Farris stuff they should have charged and didn't because they're protecting Obama. The tax stuff on Hunter Biden, folks, I read the indictment. The dude is in a lot of legal trouble. He is in a ton of legal trouble because the indictment doesn't hold back at all on the tax stuff. It's even got a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet, Jimbo, you agree? Pretty hilarious in a tragic sense. No, there's an actual spreadsheet in there. Let's just read this little gem from the indictment. This is not a joke. This is not the dark web. This is an actual indictment. Between 2016 and October of 2020, the defendant, Hunter Biden, spent this money on drugs, escorts and girlfriends, luxury hotels and rental properties, exotic cars, clothing, and other items of a personal nature. Notice the stinger at the end here. In short, everything but his taxes. New rules, baby. This is all in a legal filing now. I will expect a new attorney general in the Trump administration, whether it's Kash Patel or John Ratcliffe or whoever it is, Rick Grenell, I would expect that they would look at this as a very serious corruption case. And we've already said that if you're of the opposite political party, right? Liberal said it doesn't necessarily mean it's political targeting. We're not targeting Donald Trump for his politics. We're targeting because he defrauded a bank. He did. But the bank guy said under oath they love doing business. Doesn't matter, bro. It's not political targeting. Okay, fair game. New rules. Here's a spreadsheet. By the way, Jim, I'm so glad we got rid of George Santos, right? George Santos? Because it's not like we got a guy in the White House whose kid spent $1,664,000 on ATM and cash withdrawal. Wow. So glad you guys got rid of Santos. And now that Kevin McCarthy's leaving, you may lose your majority if someone gets sick or, God forbid, something worse happens. Good job, fellas. Good job getting rid of Santos. I'm just curious, George Santos, you want to call in? Did you take $1.664 million in ATM cash withdrawals? I don't like George Santos. He's a fraud, a phony, and a fake. Did he spend $683,000 on payments for? Whoa. Wait, what? Dude, did you make? Is this real? Is this from the actual die? Wait. Yeah. Okay. So they got a spread. I am messing with you here. This is a spreadsheet of what Hunter Biden spent the money he did not pay taxes on, according to these allegations. This is a real spreadsheet. Let's go through this, huh? Thank God you got rid of Santos. It's not like you got a guy in the White House who's like a foreign agent or anything. I mean, glad you got rid of him. You guys did a great job. Way to knock him dead. Yeah, what's your question? That's a very good question, Jim. So there's a spreadsheet in there. It says description. Hunter Biden's ATM and cash withdrawals from 2016 to 2019 totaled $1.664 million. $4. What was the $4 from? Just kind of curious. Can you just round that off? Like, what was that for? A bazooka gum or something? Like, what did he do? He had to throw that in there. So $1.6 million. Jim brings up a good question. Isn't there an ATM limit? What the hell was this guy doing? Driving around to ATMs all over the country unloading cheese? I need that cheese. My daughter, they said they call it bread now to kids. I don't know. I'm not hip with the lingo. Got to get that bread. How the hell do you take $1.6 million? Dan, it says ATM/cash withdrawal. Yeah, even worse. You went to a bank teller and took out over the course of a year in 2018, $772,000, and nobody thought anything was weird? Oh, wait. Someone's saying something in my ear. No, Dan, they did. They filed suspicious activity reports, banks indicating they were up to no good. That's right. I forgot about that because I was told there was no evidence by Democrat. They said no evidence. I didn't know. So right. So people, in other words, have been following this for years, that Hunter Biden was up to shenanigans. Whatever shenanigans are, I'm only 10% Irish. Whatever shenanigans are, he was up to it, and people reported it. There's an actual document called a SAR. No, it's not like an acute respiratory disease. It's a suspicious activity report. I read a lot of them in the Secret Service. And the bank filed hundreds of these. So it's almost like people have known about this for a really, really long time. 1.6 in ATM and cash withdrawals. You almost gotta hat tip them. Like, if you were a grifter, like, this is some grift he's got going. Folks, let me tell you something. Talking about money's kind of cheesy, you know. I mean, I don't make like what Rush made. Rush was on like 5,000 stations, but we did all right. Show does pretty good, you know. I'm not used to having money. I'm like, you know, the unsinkable Molly Brown, Titanic. I'm like the new money guy. I don't know anything about money. I grew up wearing Pro-Keds, right? I got a little bit of cheese, a little bit here and there. I don't think I've taken $1.6 million out of the bank in cash withdrawals ever. Like, ever. And I actually have an actual job. No, it's real. And it doesn't involve Ukraine or China or Fang Fang or anything like that. Here, let's go through this. This gets even better. Hunter Biden, $683,212. Got to get that 12 in there. Over 4 years for payments to, quote, various women. What is it? Various women? Kind of. What is it, like the Rockettes? Was he leaving tips at Rockefeller Center? Hey, ladies, you guys can really kick. Here's a couple hundred for each of you. That's a lot of... My eyes ain't so great anymore. $683,212 for various women over 4 years. You know, I don't really pay various women. So, if you know what I mean, it's kind of a family-friendly station here we're on. Jim, what kind of women, help me with this, I'm struggling a little. What kind of women do you think he was paying? You got a guess? No, you can't say, it just says various women, bro. Why do you have to default to hookers and strippers? Freaking slob. He just sent me a text because, Dan, there's video evidence. But I was told there was no evidence by Democrats. They said that's why I didn't think that. I thought various women, I thought he was donating to like the Women's Defense League for like women's rights. You mean various, there's pictures of that. Like hookers and stuff. Jim says it was a women's self-defense class. It was just nude and it focused exclusively on the guard position. And Hunter Biden was in top control all the time, showing various hip movements. And dude, I don't think that's self-defense. No, he's showing them the north-south. That's an actual move in jiu-jitsu. No, it is. What? Mike, can you look at Mike? Do you go to your phone right now? Put Brazilian jiu-jitsu, north-south. It's a real thing. Mike's looking at it now. He's like, yeah, that's what Hunter was doing. It was naked north-south. Is it not a real thing, Mike? Thank you. Mike's acknowledging me. Jim even noted it's amazing that not only was he doing naked Brazilian jiu-jitsu north-south, he was training to fight multiple attackers at the same time. It says payment, various women. There's a little asterisk, self-defense. What's wrong with this? $683,000. Now, I used to take private Brazilian jiu-jitsu classes with this guy Harlan. He's a good dude. He's a Hoist Gracie black belt. He was like $100 for an hour. $683,000. That's a lot of jiu-jitsu. He spent a lot of time doing north-south. He better be good at that. I wonder if he's going to enter a local BJJ tournament. BJJ. BJJ, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. What do you get? Dude, what's your mind at? What's wrong with you? Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament. And he better finish in the north-south if he gets in that position, if you know what I mean. He's probably very good at this. Yeah, top position guard, he's really good too. I've even heard he's not bad at the mount. 683,000 payments to various women. Are they all? I wonder if they're black belts. Or are they still like purple belts, brown belt? I'm not really sure. Black belts. It's kind of. There were belts involved. Just not the ones you think. What's that cat from like 50 Shades of Grey? What's his name? Like Sebastian or something? I don't know. I don't read the book. But he's got like some name or something like that. Simon or something like that. I notice in here also he's got some payments for other interesting things. Adult entertainment. Wait, Dan, you just said he had payments for various women. No, the crazy thing is the adult entertainment is separate. So he paid $600. This is the horniest dude I've ever seen in my life. What? It's true. $683,000 for various women. Again, I'm sure it was self-defense. But another... Jim thinks it may have been some of the substances. He paid another $188,960 for adult entertainment. What the hell was this guy doing? What was he? I mean, after 7 hours of self-defense training with multiple attackers in the naked Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu North-South, what else could you possibly need entertaining for in the adult space? What? I'm almost like, wow, that I should have partied with this guy when I was. Holy crikeys! That $188,000. He spent $100,000 in 2018 alone in adult entertainment in 2018 after $383,000 on various women. What was this guy doing? Is he on like testosterone supplements? Is there growth hormone involved? What is he doing? This guy's iliopsoas and hip muscles must be the most finely developed on planet Earth from all of the hip action. I mean, it's a key component of jiu-jitsu. Hey, he who controls the hips controls the fight. That's what they say. I never seen anything like this. This guy's really talented. No. Right. Jim notes a great point. That his actual Roth IRA saving for the future, he put $53K. 4 times more for adult entertainment and 10, 20 times more for women of the night. Oh, man, I'm way over. I'm not even, folks, this thing gets even worse. This gets even worse. I'll be right back.
Bongino.
Christmas will be here before you know it. If you're looking for a really special gift this year, I encourage you to check out the firearms made right here in America by our friends at Henry Repeating Arms. Order a free holiday gift guide at henryusa.com and get free decals you can use for stocking stuffers. Folks, when you give someone a Henry rifle or shotgun, I have many of these, you're giving them a work of art built with the finest craftsmanship I've ever seen. They are rugged. I've thrown mine in the back of trucks. This thing takes a beating. Their performance is top-notch. Mine were accurate right out of the box, smooth and straight. They've been reliable ever since. With over 200 models of rifles, shotguns, and revolvers to choose from, there's something for everyone at Henry Repeating Arms. Folks, just get the catalog. They have rifles and shotguns for outdoorsmen, hunters, beginners, collectors, specialty editions. You're looking for home and land defense options. These are rugged family heirlooms that can be passed down to future generations, backed by a lifetime warranty. Put something made in America that's rugged under the tree this Christmas. Go to henryusa.com and get your free gift guide and decals today. It's free. Just go to the website, henryusa.com. Get a free gift guide and decals. You're going to love this company.
Dan Bongino.
Free speech is alive and well in America.
Sometimes it's hard to know what's real and what isn't.
Right here.
The country is heading in the wrong direction under this president.
We're suffering shortages. America's running out of everything.
News Talk STL. News, analysis, opinion.
Francis Chick Powers.
With an inside story behind a Christmas song.
I really can't stay.
But baby, it's cold outside.
I've got to go away.
But baby, it's cold outside.
This evening has
been hoping that you'd drop in.
So very nice.
I'll hold your hands. They're just like
my mother.
That's Miss Margaret Whiting and Mr. Johnny Mercer with Baby, It's Cold Outside. Both the words and music were written in 1944 by Mr. Frank Lesser. In 1949, the song was included in the MGM movie musical Neptune's Daughter, and it won an Academy Award for Best Song. The song entered the national Billboard charts in May of 1949, extending into part of that year's summer season, peaking at number 3. Interestingly, over time, the song became a holiday favorite, mainly because of its winter theme. Frank Lesser's daughter, Miss Susan Lesser, now explains why the song was written.
My mother, whose stage name was Lynn Garland, and my father used to perform at parties on both coasts in the entertainment business. If you got invited to a party, you had to bring an act. So my father wrote Baby, It's Cold Outside for them to perform at parties. And they sang it together as a duet. And they were a big hit.
From the Christmas files of the musicalsoundreview.com, I'm Francis Chick Powers.
But it's cold outside.
Getting a new floor for your home can be intimidating and a little scary. But that's not the case when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. Katie here, and my mom and dad used Michael's, and they had a great experience. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 30 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Shop in-store at one of their 3 locations in Creve Coeur, Dardine Prairie, or St. Peter's. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com.
On the next
Larry Connors USA.
So what did you think of the latest GOP debate? We'll break it down for you and see if there was anything of interest.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
News, analysis, opinion.
News Talk STL.
Turn it up to make sure your liberal neighbors finally hear some common sense. The Dan Bongino Show.
There you go. Eric, official Dan Bongino Show, Pantera content recognizer. Consider your Pantera. My friend recognized, and rest in peace, Dimebag Darrell. You know what happened today, you know. Pantera. People love Pantera. We can never repeat that episode again. That was like one of the darkest moments in history of the show. You like that last segment? Oh, yeah, I'm not even done. The Hunter Biden spreadsheet gets even better. Oh, it's glorious. A lot of jiu-jitsu in there, folks. A lot of naked jiu-jitsu. Hey, it's clear the unthinkable's here. Our most trusted institutions now deceive us, and boldly, every day. Something's clearly wrong. Time is short to become more self-reliant, secure the future for your family. Act today with My Patriot Supply. Don't mess around with this stuff. My Patriot Supply is the country's largest preparedness company. Get prepared today. Don't wait. They'll stock your shelves. They have a bunch of stuff there, too, seed vaults and other stuff. But I have their 3-month emergency food kit. I have a couple for every member of my family. It has breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Lasts up to 25 years in storage. Right now, it's $200 off. It's a lot. Get over 2,000 calories a day. Calories are survival. You just add water and heat the meals and eat them. It's that simple. Make sure every member of your family has a 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go right now to MyPatriotSupply.com for $200 savings. Be sure to order by 3 p.m. The order ships free same day. Listen, better to have emergency food and not need it than to need it and not have it. Get $200 off today at MyPatriotSupply.com. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Dan Bongino.
Folks, this is you want another doozy? Hunter Biden in the indictment on what he spent money on, and it wasn't his taxes. $309,000 over 4 years on tuition. What the hell course was this? A shop class on how to make creative crack pipes? What was he? Is that what he was doing? Oh, Jim says he was educating. It was the jiu-jitsu classes with the women again. Tuition. Wait, but that doesn't fall under various women or adult entertainment? Wait, one more. Don't even let the computer cut me off. This is a great one, folks. $233,000 for health, beauty, and pharmacy. But what the hell was it? Collagen supplements? What was in there? Diamond dust? Hell, what did CVS charge $200,000?
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct in as-is condition. Did you just inherit a house and you're not sure what to do with it? Maybe it's got a lot of stuff in there and you're really not sure what to do with the stuff and how to sell the house. Well, we do a lot of work with people that inherited property. We're very familiar with the estate courts and the probate courts. So if you have a house you just inherited, please reach out today. We'd love to make you an offer and simplify your real estate situation. KLAMEN Group.com.